Ah. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Come on in. Get yourself settled down. Love my AC. He saved my life from the heat so many times this week. AC is a good thing to have. Currently have my AC blowing in my bedroom and the fan blowing the cold air out into the hallway. Cooling down the whole house. Good shit. How's the boss doing? We're doing okay. We're doing all right. Got the new video done. It's up on Patreon. It's uploaded to YouTube. It'll be released on Saturday. And now I've begun work on the other projects. 45 degrees Celsius yesterday, for God's sake, and it was a Saint Jean Bastille. Ugh. Yeah, no, that shit sucks. Sorry, Knight. I really need like a small tripod. I used to have one, but I think I lost it on the move to this place because I can't find it anywhere, and it would really help to show off the model that I am currently painting. So that way y'all could see it. And it wouldn't be a pain in the ass, you know? Hey boss, I figured out I'm going to do the singular deity Chaos Legion before I do any other armies. Which do you think I should do after my Death Guard? Which one do you find to be the coolest after Death Guard? Which one fits your playstyle? Hey boss, a not so fun fact about Marie Antoinette the French called her Autry Chenet. Chenet is the female of a dog in French. Okay. Why hello there. Hope your day has been well. It's been going okay. I got a very long video done. It's very heartfelt. It's up on Patreon. It's going to come out on YouTube this Saturday. And I hope you all enjoy it. It's kind of a bit more than what it is. Because I did a lot of self-reflecting and such. So I hope you all enjoy it. I worked very hard on it. Hey boss, how's your evening going? It's afternoon over here. But my afternoon's okay. I got work done yesterday. I got more work done today. Now we're just chilling and painting and chatting and talking, having a good time. Having a grand old time together. I get to talk to you guys. I get to talk with you guys and hang out. I did good work today. And I am rewarded by painting. Shit that I enjoy doing again because it's not under a panic time strain. Currently mainly thinking about Thousand Sons or EC. Okay. Being an Emperor's Children player and a Thousand Sons player, they are very different from Death Guard. Thousand Sons and Death Guard look like they play similarly, but Thousand Sons cannot tank like Death Guard can. And we don't hit as hard as them. We require a lot of setup. And Emperor's Children, they're not... They're an army that wants you to think and position carefully, so that way you maximize your strike potential as an army. They're not a blunt instrument. They are a rapier. They want to find the chinks in the enemy line and exploit that. That's what they want to do. Hey boss, what is the thing you enjoy the most about 40k? For me, is the art goes the art goes hard. What do I enjoy about Warhammer 40k? Ooh, that is a good question. It's the storytelling, it's the art, it's the game. All of it does it for me. The game is a fun, dumb war game that I can spend a weekend playing with my friends, or a fun, competitive time that makes me use my brain in ways that I never thought about. It forces me to solve problems both on and off the table, and has me actually creatively think about how to solve my problems and how to go about things, how to use what I have to its maximum capabilities. That is what 40K has taught me. That is what I enjoy on the table. Or, as a creative, I enjoy creating stupid shit with my friends. I just played a game last night of Horus Heresy where I had like 4,000 points of Ultramarines on the table, facing down like 3,000 points of World Eaters, 6,000 points of Sons of Horus, with Imperial Fists and Blood Angels as my allies, and it was just a dumb, fun game. We had a good fucking time. Just shooting the shit and having a fun time. Story-wise, it's that perfect mend of grimdark for me. Where, yes, it does focus on the hyper-violence, but it doesn't, like, solely go into that. It focuses on all the different aspects of the grimdark universe, why it is the way it is, why these characters act the way they do. When a character dies, yeah, their death is visceral, but it's quick. It's fast. Then it's dropped. It's moved on from. You think a Space Marine gives you shit in the middle of battle about how his best friend just got his head blown off? Nah, he's gonna care about that shit after he's done murdering the thing that just murdered his friend. And even then, he's not gonna think on it that much because he's a brainwashed super soldier, and it's like, that's a part of the natural thing. I'll miss him, but, like, it's a natural part of our life. And yeah, the art goes hard, but there's different art styles that I like within 40K. It's hard to find, like, the ones that I do like and the ones that I don't like, off the top of my head. It's not just art. It's not just art that does it for me. It has to be a multitude of things. Because, like, Sword Art Online looks pretty. I fucking hate Sword Art Online. You can have pretty pictures, and I will still fucking hate you. You can look pretty, but still be an ugly bitch on the inside. There has to be more there for me than just pretty art, sadly. I know for, like, a lot of people it's not just the art, but, like, art is not the first thing that I go to. Plenty of shows, plenty of books, plenty of comics, plenty of games have pretty art. But if it doesn't have anything there to keep me interested, you're a pretty picture with nothing going for you. It's not just the art for me, sadly. I'm glad that like the art is like your favorite thing. I just need a little bit more. Do I still play Space Marine 2? When I'm asked to. Space Marine 2 got very boring for me very fast. Do you see the new art of Gulliman as he aged like milk? Yes. Will showed me the new art, and my god, what did they do to my boy? Not like, what the fuck? The art is fucked up. No, it's more like, oh god. It's like watching Obama from 2008, and then going to 2016 Obama. The man has aged very poorly because of the stress of the job. And this is a Primarch. It's that kind of, Jesus Christ, mate, what happened to you? The answer, the Imperium sucks. How do you feel about Darktide, then? If you like it, have you checked out the new class? I have not had the... Okay. So... the problem is that Darktide is a game that I can't enjoy unless I have friends with me. And I'm also a very busy person. And I can't play all the time. And Darktide is a game, sadly, that I do not enjoy linking up with randos, because randos in that game can either be very nice or it's a fucking dice roll if you get Racism McGee who types slurs into chat or has his voice on with a terrible quality mic because he knows that pisses people off and he's just a fucking tool that wants to annoy the shit out of you and be the embodiment of everything you want to punch. I play games to have fun, not to want to punch some random fuckhead. So, do I enjoy Darktide with friends? Yes. Have I been able to experience it? No, I've been very busy as of late. And I don't, I know it's like probably not the answer you're looking for, but like, I'm sorry, welcome to reality where I need to put food on the table, so I need to work. I need to get shit done. And I have very little time to game if it's not on stream. What's the thing you're painting on? We are currently painting a flawless blade of the Emperor's Children. Hey boss, if you had to paint an army based on a show or game, which game and army would you make it? That's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one. What's the theme of your army? Color theme is white, royal purple, and whatever drugged up color I can find. White, purple, and gold is the main three colors. And then, like, accent colors or whatever drugged up colors I can get my hands on. Because Emperor's Children are funny like that. You know what? I got it. Leagues of Votann army based on classic Mega Man. Got it. I'm a genius. It is I, the great Papyrus. Eh. What recommendations on painting an army? You want my recommendation? Paint as you build. So, like, when you're building the model, if it's a more complex model, like a character model, don't just build, then paint it. As you build it, paint it. Or build it so that way, like, you're most of the way built for it. And then you can just put it all together. And it's fully built and painted. Will save you millions of hours of headache. Take it from somebody who built Angron all the way, and then decided to paint him. Don't be me. Don't be stupid. Learn from my failures. Now, what about models that are like... What about D&D models where you can't do that? Well... I don't know. Good luck. But yeah, like, while the model's on the sprue, prime them up. It won't cover up the numbers, you'll be fine. And then the best piece of advice I can give you, trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process. Can I help you? Can I help you? Would you like help? Do you require assistance? No, you just want to sit there and look cute? Okay, you can sit there and look cute. There's the cat, chat. Cat cameo. Cat cameo. There's a little fuzzball. Yeah, I builded my knights before I painted it. That's... Paint as you fucking build. Paint as you fucking build. What's your favorite unit from 40k and 30k if you played it? Also, Kitty. My favorite unit in 40k... Ooh. That's a good question. 30k, it's the Sakaran tank. I think the Sakaran looks sick as fuck. 40k, though, that's a little bit harder to decide. Because I play so many different armies. What happens if I already built it? Trust the process. Here's the thing. I can't really give you advice. Because what works for me might not work for you. Because what I find comfortable might be extremely frustrating to another person. I've seen people who work with brushes that I fucking despise, but they love those brushes. I've seen people do methods that I find extremely complicated, but they say is like the easiest method to learn. That's the problem in trying to give advice on how to paint. What works for me might not work for you. What I can say, though, is that don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment with colors. Don't be afraid to experiment with paint styles. Because if you're just getting the Citadel paints, they're oil. So you just get some simple green, dunk your models in simple green for about like 12 to 18 hours, then scrub them down. You can just repaint them. Or if you don't actually give a shit about that, you can just repaint over them. Don't ever feel trapped by how you paint something. You can always go back and fix it later. And again, as I will always say, as I've said since the beginning of time, so long as I've been on the internet, your first model is always going to be your worst. And that is okay. And don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to other artists. If you are starting out painting, you are going to be nowhere near the skill level of someone who's been doing this for years. I've been doing this for years, and I'm nowhere near the skill level of some of these very incredible artists. But I don't compare myself to them because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm painting because I use painting to de-stress and relax. It's a part of my hobby, but it isn't the sole factor of it. Sarah, please stop. Nice, that tank is cool. Mine's just the Tactical Marines. For 40k, I have no idea, not gonna lie. Again, 40k just has too many models. Sarah! You do not need to be screaming. No, come here. Come here. Come here. Get over here. Nope. One sec, chat. Get over here. Nope. Not playing these games. Not playing these games. Come here. Come here. Chat. 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 I want you to look at this idiot. I want you to look at this beautiful little idiot. Look at her. Look at her, chat. This creature. This small baby. This tiny baby. She's screaming her fucking head off. She is screaming her fucking head off. Because she wants pets. But no. I'm not going to come to you for pets, Dad. I'm going to scream that I want pets. I'm going to scream that I want pets. I'm going to scream that I want pets. I want attention. I want affection. But I'm not going to come to you. Fuck you, Dad. You're going to follow me all the way to my cat tree. And I'm going to jump up to the top of the cat tree. And you're going to rub my belly. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if you're doing something right now. You're gonna give me belly rubs, is what she just did. And I said, fuck that. I grab her, and she's getting pets here. Yeah, look at her. Daddy's little girl, yeah. Look at you. So happy. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. God, you're dumb. I love you, you fucking creature. I love you so much, but goddamn. This is a weird thing to join the live on. My cat has been chirpy and noisy all morning, and she would not, like, she just wants snuggles and pets, but, like, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, so I can't, like, go and, like, sit on the couch and let her lay on my lap. I have to work here, and I'm just like, come here. Like, come sit on my lap as I work. And she just refuses. Because she's like, she gets in her head, no, Dad, come here. Like, come over here. I want to be over here. And I'm like, I can't go over there. I'm working. But, like, look at her. She is purring, chat. Like, look at this creature. Look at her. Absolutely snuggled. She just wants pets and affection. Look at her! I'm trying to, like, paint, baby. I'm trying to get stuff done. And chat with my chat. And you're just like, nah, love me instead. Give me love. Fuck whatever you're doing. Again, chat, I love my cat. She is my cat. She is my baby. But... God, are you a spoiled bitch? Spoiled brat is what you are. Oh, but you're my cutie. You're my little baby. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're my good girl. Like, look at her, chat. Mine needs to lose some weight. She's built like a ham. This cat runs around at night. She loses weight every fucking night. She works off what she eats. In the morning, she'll hop up on me and just, like, stare at me and purr. Like, trying to get me to get up, right? But, like, it's counterproductive because her purring is soothing. And so I just want to lay in bed more, but she's like, nah, get up. I wanna go do our routine in the morning. I wanna go to the bathroom and everything. I wanna do my routine. Let's go. And I'm just like, but so comfy. 2-year-old kitty at my home thinks she can eat metal. She's not that dumb. But she is dumb enough to run headfirst into a wall. Break her tooth. Cry about it for like a second. And then continue to do what she just did. That led to her tooth getting broken in the first place. Because she has the memory of a goldfish. Yes, you do. You have the memory of a fucking goldfish. I talk so mean to you, but I love you so much. She's gonna give you so many gray hairs. Oh, she totally is. But, she was a part of the cat distribution system. I did not get a choice. So, Sarah she's not my cat. She was Phoenix's cat. before we started living together, right? And as Phoenix put it, when they went to the pound, Sarah didn't have a name, by the way. Didn't have a name. But our little baby here, she reached out and was meowing for Phoenix to grab her and hold her and everything. And Phoenix decided from that point, your name is Sarah and you're mine. So she adopted her. And I told Phoenix don't do that. Because Phoenix already had another cat and she had little time to spend at home to raise a kitten. But what do I know? I'm only experienced with dogs. So Phoenix tells me I got a cat. Fuck you. Her name is Sarah. She is now my little baby. And I'm like, okay, come hell or high water, you're responsible for her. I don't give a shit if Sam claws her eyes out. I gave you the warning because we had another cat named Sam for a bit. Sarah here. And for a while, I never met Sarah. I never went over to Phoenix's place because like Phoenix was very nervous about me coming over because private stuff. But eventually, I do help them like clean their place. I start going over more frequently. Like I start spending nights there because like we're getting to that part in our relationship where I spend the night at their place. Then one day while I'm walking over there to go spend time with them, it's a particularly not fun day to be outside. It's a blizzard. But I wanted to go spend time with the person I love. And cook them a nice meal. So I walk all the way over there at like 11 in the morning. I get there around noon. I crash out on their couch because I'm just like, nah, I'm tired. I'm done. Fuck this. I pass out. And the next thing I know, an hour later, after I wake up from my nap, this small kitten has curled up on top of me, is deep asleep, and I'm staring at it, and I go, fuck. Because it's at that moment you unintentionally formed a bond with the pet. I unintentionally formed a bond with Sarah. And yeah. She is my baby. She is my good girl. Since that day, she has been my cat. She was distributed onto my stomach while I was sleeping. And what am I supposed to do? And since then, like, look at that. Look at that. She trusts me so much, chat. She trusts me completely. I grew up with big dogs, a black with white dots, Labrador named Tetra, and a full white pit bull, who wasn't owned by my parents, but I don't care. Named Massive. Aw. But yeah, I grew up as a dog person, right? I grew up with a blue heeler. Then we got a German Shepherd cross golden retriever. Then later we got a purebred German Shepherd, but we had to give that one away because it was a puppy. We just didn't have the time to train it, and we gave it to a home that actually could actually look after her. And then my last dog was a German short hair pointer cross coonhound. And we recently had to put that dog down. My family's always been dog people, right? We love dogs. We've always been dog people. And like I've told Phoenix after like the next time we feel ready to get a pet, I want it to be a dog. I want a pupper. I like the companionship. I like something that I can wrestle, right? You can't do that with a cat. A cat, Sarah, I go to for different things. Sarah is a comfort pet. Very much someone that I love to take care of. I love to snuggle. I love to get pets. But like you can't wrestle a cat. Oh, you are so sweet. You are so cute. Can I get back to work, please? Am I able to work now? Can I work? Can I paint my model, please? I would like to get it done. Is that okay? Oh, you're done? You're done? Thank you. Yeah, she's done. There you go. Yeah, you just needed some loving. Granted, you could have, like, just come here and got it, and I would have happily done it earlier instead of chase you out of the room. I have German Shepherds. They are a lot of work, but worth it. Kind of dumb sometimes. Oh, yeah, it's... Listen. The German Shepherd puppy that we had was named Riza. I tried to call her Riza, but my dad is like, that's spelled Riza. And I'm like, it's Riza, Dad. Because I wanted to name her after Riza Hawkeye. Because Full Metal Alchemist, you know? But my dad wasn't having any of it. He's like, it's Riza, fuck you. And I'm just like, fine. Whatever. Your name is stupid. But Riza, when you're raising a puppy, chat, it is a 24/7 experience. It is a 24/7 job until that pupper is trained. Unless you have the money to hire a professional trainer. And everything that puppy does, everything, requires you to watch them. Not just like... Sometimes you can passively watch them, like be in the same room. But other times you need to actively be watching what they're doing and how they're going about things. Because they're puppies. They're dumb. They're not trained. And so they will do destructive and or stupid shit because they're puppies. They don't understand that eating drywall is bad for them. They want to gnaw on something because they're a dog. They need to be taught that no, you don't gnaw on the drywall, you gnaw on this. You gnaw on this bone. Bone is better than drywall. But, like, it takes a bit for those lessons to, you know, stick. So you need to have a level of patience and the time to do that. And we didn't have the time nor patience to do it. If it was summer vacation when we got her... If it was summer vacation, not Christmas break, we would have had a lot more time to spend with her, to watch her, and actively take care of her. But we got her, like, on Christmas break, which is a huge mistake. I don't remember why we got her like around Christmas break. I'd have to ask my mom and my dad. But that was the worst time to have a dog. And it took about like another 2 years to convince my mom to let us get another dog. And she made the condition of, okay, but it can't be a puppy. Like, it has to be a fully grown dog. Which, by the way, as someone who's owned dogs, unless you are willing to commit to raising a puppy, always get from the pound. Always get from your local dog shelter. Because those dogs deserve a home. Don't just go for the aesthetically pleasing dog. Don't go for pure breeds because they have tons of genetic issues. Because they're all fucking inbred. Always go to shelters. Always make sure that the dog fits with your family unit and your family dynamic. And always keep your financial and physical space aware. Like, keep those in mind. Because a small dog will cost you less than a big dog. But a big dog will let you do a lot more together than a small dog will. It's all those kinds of things. You need space for the dog to run. You need space for the dog to, like, do its business in. Toys for it to play with. You need to take it on walks. You need to take care of its business while you're on those walks, because no one wants to walk in dog shit. It's a whole thing you need to keep aware of. One dog we had ate my brother's bike seat twice. Jesus Christ. Yeah, dogs are a big responsibility, chat. So, like, when I say I want a dog, it is when I'm more financially stable. And when I know I can take care of it reliably. A cat is so much easier to take care of because you both just occupy the same space. And all a cat requires is that, like, you don't raise plants that'll kill it. You keep nastier stuff away from it that could actually harm it. And just make sure that it's eating. And the cat just will come to you when it wants pets, when it wants love. And the moment you accept that, cats are much easier to raise than dogs.
Also, hi, boss. I've been here for about 10 minutes.
Oh,
so.
Shit. Oh, there
you were talking. You had a cat on your lap. It was like I wasn't going to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry. You were also behind my camera for painting, so I didn't see you were live in the chat. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
I found reptiles are pretty easy to raise as well. Not comparatively.
Depends on the reptile from my. I was going to say depends on the reptile from what I understand.
Yeah, it depends on the reptile, and Like, how big is the reptile? How much maintenance does it need? Because some reptiles you can leave alone for like weeks and it'll be fine. And then other reptiles, it's like, if there's a drop, like a single percentage drop in the temperature, it's fucked. Like I love turtles. Like my dream was to own a turtle, and then learning about like all the different things needed to raise a turtle, I quickly changed my tune. Because I'm like, I can't dedicate that much brain power to that. And I can't be responsible for a turtle dying. I'll be very sad if that happens. Like, I'm inconsolable if an animal that I love dies.
Yeah, I've been told I'm not allowed to have a puppy because I will not. I am not. I will not be responsible for. I will not apparently um, be able to discipline it. My wife has said that we have a dog. He's very good. He's a very good boy. He's currently sitting next to me sleeping. Um, but we were going to get when we lost our other dog late last year. We were going to get another one, and then my wife was like, "Actually, no, you're not capable of disciplining a puppy." So, and my wife doesn't like getting non-puppy dogs because yeah, you're dealing with all like their development issues.
Yep.
And like all their health, like sometimes all their health complications and whatnot.
Just better to adopt from a pound.
Mm-hmm. There are some like fairly reputable breeders around here, and then there's a couple that really aren't. That's fun. My parents-in-law found one of them when they were looking for a new home.
Oh.
They were looking for a new house to. They were downsizing their house and well, okay, they were side sizing, because they ended up going to somewhere that I think is actually square footage bigger. But one of the places they looked at was a farm because they wanted some outbuildings for like various other things they're doing, and this place they went to and they were looking around it and they're like, "Oh, this is a former puppy mill. We're not comfortable like interacting with these people, so bye."
What do y'all think of hamsters? They're there. They're an animal that will not last 5 years. And are incredibly fragile for a rodent. I raised guinea pigs for a little bit, right? And a guinea pig is much more uh tougher in comparison to a hamster. And a hamster is like, oh, it's like the perfect child pet because like it's low maintenance and everything. And it's just like, yeah, but the second that kid gets a little too hands-on, it fucking dies. Because kids don't understand small thing is fragile until it's fucking dead, and then you've traumatized the kid.
mean, then the kid learns about death, so I mean, valuable lesson.
Yeah, but like I'd rather the kid learn about death in a way that isn't their responsibility. And they don't grow up like walking on eggshells or feeling like they need to be.
I grew up around a lot of farm kids, so like animals passing away was just sort of like a thing to them. Like, just like they didn't.
Yeah, because like, oh, Henry the chicken's getting put the fuck down today, so that way we can have dinner.
Yeah, like they just did not give it.
I live in Alberta. I live in hunting country.
Yeah.
It's the difference between like. It's that kind of conversation where it's like my sister used to be a vegetarian, and she's like, "How could you guys like murder deer and everything?" And it's just like, because deer is yummy. And listen, chat, I'm not a hunter. I cannot hurt an animal, but I will happily devour a fucking cheeseburger. I accept that there are animals that we need to eat to survive. I'm just not gonna be the one to gut it. I'll happily cook it. But, like, I'm incredibly weak-willed when it comes to animals. If they look me in the eye with, like, those pleading eyes of don't hurt me, I'm just like, eh. If I accidentally stepped on any of the dogs that I owned, like if I like stepped on their paw by accident, I am a mess. I'm just like trying to like comfort them and love on them, even though like it was just a small yip and they're fine. I'm just like, no, 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 I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And just like spoiling the shit out of them, even though like they're fine. They don't even realize like why, like they don't even know why I'm freaking out. And they're just like, hey, free love.
And also potentially treats.
Also potentially
Not missing out
treats.
Yeah, my wife and I joke that our dog will be like, you know, I forgive you, but does the apology come with bacon?
Sarah's like, I forgive you, but does the apology come with wet treats?
Mm-hmm.
What was it like taking care of a guinea pig? Incredibly boring, honestly. And annoying if you didn't like their sound. Because guinea pigs have a... They're not quiet. They're actually a very chatty... They're a very chatty rodent. And it's actually why when you are raising guinea pigs, like a guinea pig, you need 2 guinea pigs. Because guinea pigs are incredibly social creatures, and they need a buddy.
Basically, like pack animals, almost like in the wild, aren't they? Like,
Yeah,
they live in colonies.
yeah, they are incredibly...
Social.
Yeah, they're incredibly social, and if they're alone, they will actually die of loneliness. Because, like, they can't handle being alone. So, when you're raising guinea pigs, you get 2 of them. And they are incredibly chatty. They're incredibly, energetic. For something that's, like, something of their size. And... if you're not willing to deal with that, don't get a guinea pig. And I will tell you right now, the times where they are the most chatty and active is at night. So unless you're willing to deal
See,
with at night, don't.
I was gonna say, aren't they also nocturnal? But yeah, like
Yeah, they're the worst kind of pet for me is one that's extremely active at night. I forget if it's with them or hamsters, but don't touch the babies unless you're a sick fuck and want to see it eaten. Yeah, fuck. Guinea pigs and hamsters are incredibly vicious. Like if you take their baby away to hold it and then you give it back to them, they will not recognize it as theirs because it is not their scent anymore. So they'll think it's a hostile and then eat it. And it's just like, what the fuck?
I had a friend in school that used to tell me about rehoming orphan lambs. Because she worked on, our family had sheep,
Yeah.
and apparently, like every year, like one or two, they would work with like other farmers to do this. Like they would like pull their flocks and stuff. Because like every year they'd have like one or two like mother sheep would die in lambing, and like a couple of one would obviously lose lambs. Just a thing that unfortunately happens. And apparently, the best thing you can do is to try and match up orphaned lambs with recently having lost their lambs' mothers. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you skin the baby lamb that died and put its skin as a coat onto the new one.
Jesus Christ!
Yep.
Oh my god, what fucking Night Lord's bullshit is this?
Because then it smells like the one that they lost and they adopt it. Like, because otherwise you have to hand rear the lamb, and apparently that's a pain in the arse.
That's so fucked
It's
up.
apparently it's apparently really grisly, but it's apparently like, really, really like super like practical for like farming.
This is why I can't be a farmer, chat. I have too much empathy. And I can't be a Night Lord, chat. I can't just like casually stare at something and go, it's faster this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's why the Night Lords would cull me very quickly.
Oh, I don't think any of us would survive in 40k. I mean, that is like, it's kind of the point.
Yeah, it's
Like,
no, the Night Lords can't be that bad. Oh, they're bad. They're terrible.
mm-hmm.
They're honest about it, at least. I like when a Night Lord tells me they're going to do something, I can trust that they're going to do it.
It's one of my favorite tropes from Legend of the Five Rings, the RPG.
Oh.
So it's a samurai RPG. If you don't know what L5R is, it's a samurai RPG set in like a fantasy Japanese style setting. And there are all these clans that are all animal themed, and they're all different archetypes. Like the lion clan are like super honorable, and like really like they like the most embody like the service aspect of Bushido kind of thing. The Crab Clan are big, muscular guys who are like sort of a bit brutish, but good natured and incredibly tough. The Crane are all expert like one draw duelists, and are all beautiful like supermodel Japanese faces with flowing white hair, kind of like concept, this whole thing. And then you have the Scorpion Clan, who are the Lion, because they are the most militaristic, are referred to as the Emperor's right hand. The Crane, who are the most courtly, are the Emperor's left hand, and the Scorpion are the Emperor's underhand. They are the villains because someone has to be, is the way they operate. Yeah?
Yeah. Very much like a Night Lord.
Someone has to do the dishonorable stuff, so it will be us. And we'll be honest about that.
Listen, someone's got to slit the child's throat, and I know the Lion's not going to fucking do it.
Yeah, pretty much. The Lion probably has the disadvantage that they can't lie. Whereas Scorpion, almost all the clans follow Bushido and the code of Bushido. Scorpion don't. Their principle that they follow above all others is loyalty. They are incredibly loyal. Not being loyal is seen as the worst thing you can be. So Scorpions are incredibly loyal to their friends, they're incredibly loyal to their clan, and they're incredibly loyal to the Empire. They have to be. Otherwise, they are just, insane killers at that point. But there's a line. What they did, which I loved, and this is a thing that a lot of RPGs did in the 90s, and I wish it would come back more. It was problematic if you didn't get the full set, but whenever they released supplementary books, supplement books that dealt with a sub faction, they were always written from that faction's perspective.
Yeah.
So they gave you an entirely biased, how that group or that clan or whatever sees itself. It's entirely biased. The Scorpion one for Elphivor is just chef's kiss, wonderful, because it is just them dunking on all the other clans. Here's how you manipulate this group. Here's how you manipulate this group. Here's how you manipulate that kind of thing. And there's all these little sidebars which are parables and sayings that they have. And one of them is the greatest skill that you can have at court is to lie by telling the truth and to tell the truth with lies.
Essentially.
And it's
ooh,
yeah.
Fuck.
That's
they
a
also
very
have Bismarck way of doing shit. Oh, God.
Yeah. They also have their version of the Scorpion and the Frog.
The what?
Because so you know the parable of the Scorpion, it's sometimes called the Scorpion and the Fox?
Yeah.
In this version, a frog is walking along a riverbank, and it sees a scorpion. And the scorpion says, "Please, my friend, can you help me? I want to get to the other side of the river. And will you carry me across on your back?" And the frog says, "No, I will not, because you will sting me, and I will drown, and then I will die, because you are a scorpion." And the scorpion says, "No, I promise I will not do that. I absolutely not. I just need your help to get to the other side of the river. Please, I swear to you that I will not sting you." Right? So it gets on the frog's back, and they begin to go across the river. And when they get halfway, the frog feels a sting in its back, and it becomes paralyzed. It begins to sink. And its last words it says to the scorpion are, Why did you do that? Now we will both die. And in the parable, the scorpion says, because it is in my nature. Yeah?
Yeah.
In L5R, the Scorpion Clan, they have an additional line at the end. And I can swim.
That's the good shit. I like fucked up clans like that. The ones who are just like, they'll stare you dead in the eye. If you earn their loyalty, they leave and die by you. But if you are not anywhere near their sphere of friendship, it is you're dead meat, and I will be brutally honest to you the second you're dying.
Yeah, they will not piss on your grave. Like that is like they would not piss on you if you were on fire. Like it is like
it's good shit.
Yeah,
like it's why like a lot of people, like, they asked me, why do so many people like the Night Lords? And I'm just like, because they're the most brutally honest and real part of 40K. Because they're those people that have been given power, and they're the scum fucks of the universe, and they freely admit it.
Mm-hmm. So there's another one like that in L5R, which is really fun, which is so almost all the clans that do court stuff have a dueling tradition, like for like handling like honor duels, essentially, because that's like a big thing in the setting. Is like, you know, you have insulted someone, so someone has to basically have a sword fight on your behalf. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the best ones at this are the oh god, what are they? The Kakita of the Crane Clan, the Kakita school of the Crane Clan, who are like they do what's called the Aijutsu cut, which is the one cut, and then it's back in the sheath, and then the person falls dead. That's actually how their sword fighting style works in the game. Like, to the point that the damage is not applied until your sword is back in the sheath.
Okay. Like,
they cut and kill you, and you're dead before you know it, kind of thing. Because it's fantasy Japan tropes. And there's another clan called the Dragon Clan, and the Dragon Clan are weird because the Dragon Clan are like partially monks, like as in like tattooed monks, but they're also like they're weirdly like practical in a bunch of other, like all of their other things are like really practical, and they sort of like they cut through a bunch of like the bullshit of a lot of the other, like they're so they also have a dueling style, and it historically has a great rival with the Kakita of the Crane, because the Kakita of the Crane, because they're called, the dragon ones are called the Miramoto, and Miramoto duelists fight with their katana and their wakizashi. They fight with two swords. That is their sword fighting style. And this apparently goes back to the founding of both schools, when the founder of the Kakita clan, who was this like Ronin who traveled, what's called Rokugan in the setting, traveled the land, you know, defeating every great swordmaster, and eventually he met Miramoto, the founder of that school, on a cliffside, and they were going to have their epic duel. And he was explaining like his philosophy on sword fighting to Miramoto, and Kakita says it is about being of one mind, one motion, one draw, one strike. And Miramoto apparently just stood looking at him for about 10 minutes and just went, two hands. It's like,
here I am, being philosophical to you, philosophizing about why I do what I do, how I do it, and everything. Mm-hmm. And here you are just like, okay, but why?
Yeah.
You've overcomplicated
It-
steps 1 to 5.
and yet, like, other members of that clan are like tattooed monks who sit around under waterfalls thinking about the wisdom of the universe. You know, like they are both the most practical and also the most esoteric of all the clans. The dragon are great. There's also because there was like a meta plot, so like one of the main characters initially in the meta plot was the son of the leader of the crab, who are like the big strong warrior ones, and he got into a rivalry with the leader of the Miramoto clan at the time, and to the point that he got challenged to a duel. And so this guy, who is like, you know, this dragon duelist, is like renowned in the Empire as being like one of the greatest swordsmen. Like he was undefeatable in combat, and he challenges the son of the leader of the Crab Clan to a duel, and he's gonna kill him. Like he's gonna like kill him for like insulting him. And he says, "Where do you want to do it?" He says, "Well, let's do it here." And so the leader of the crab, the son of the leader of the Crab Clan, just gets up, picks up his Tetsubo club, and just cracks it over his head. So I thought we were starting. It's like,
Fuck. Like, you can't get mad at him for that. He said, let's do it right here, right now. And it's like, okay, crack. What? You said now.
yeah. So then that guy's sister swears like revenge against him, and it's this massive plot of like the two of them having basically being each other's enemies, to the point that they eventually become the sun and the moon, and they're chasing each other.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah. No,
Nice.
they're not in love or anything like that.
They're going in
They
circles
hate each
around the
other.
planet.
Yeah.
It's not a tragic love story. It's a tale of get back here, you fuck.
Yep.
I love
Oh.
tales like that. I love tales that are just they spin it on its head. That's always
One
the
of
most
my other
fun
ones-
to me.
One of my other favorite ones are there's a clan called the Mantis, and the Mantis are interesting because the Mantis were not a great clan in the first edition of the game, but were a great because the way L5R worked is it was originally a card game that then had an RPG spin-off from it, right?
Yeah.
And the results of the card game tournaments determined what happened in the meta plot of the world for about 10 to 15 years.
Ooh.
Like, it was really like they did some really cool stuff. Like, they determined who became emperor, like what clan became emperor at one point, like that, based on who won a card game tournament. The guy that won it got to decide,
Nice.
you know. And so like in like the original, in like the first couple of sets of the game, like the Mantis were not a great clan, because there are lots of minor clans, and there's the great ones, and then there's whole bunch of minor ones. The Mantis were one of the minor ones because they were basically pirates. They're samurai pirates out on islands, essentially. Like very kind of One Piece-y kind of pirates.
Oh no,
basically.
I'm starting to like these things.
Yeah, but they fight with what are the twin scythes called?
Chain scythes or something like that. Chain sickles.
Yeah, they have like the twin scythes, so they look like a mantis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so, oh god, what is his name? I'm gonna look this up. But like, so there was a big, massive catastrophe, and like a whole bunch of like things needed to happen, and the leader of the Mantis clan was like incredibly boastful, but he's like one of these guys who's like incredibly boastful, but he always follows through on it.
He talks a lot of shit, but can back it up.
Yeah, like like that, like in that he talks a lot of shit. It amuses one of like essentially the gods, so the god makes it happen. Um, um, so, uh,
Gotta love your Caden Khalils of RPGs.
yeah, uh, is it Yorimoto? Uh, yes, Yorimoto, who is the leader of the clan. He basically steps forward and he's like, I will like they need to like run a blockade or something like that, and he's like, I will run the block. Or they need to defend like a water pass. Like I will my clan will defend the water pass, and the leader of like the organization that he's like,
Hey, Shadow.
Me.
is uh so he like has this what you call it he gets like ordered to like they challenge him, which is basically like, if you can hold this like sea pass, we'll make you a great clan. Like that's the bargain essentially,
And he goes,
because they
bet.
think it's impossible. Well, yeah, because they think it's impossible. It's like, if you can take your 20 strongest men to that pass and hold it, we will make you a great clan. And he goes, deal. So he sails his ship in, orders all of his sailors off it, stands on the bow himself. The enemy arrives and goes, we were told this place would be defended by your 20 strongest men. Sorry, your 50 strongest men. And he goes, I am my 50 strongest men.
I'm a barbarian, and I
the
put
god
all
of-
of my fucking points in strength and charisma.
Yeah, and the god of fortune looks at that and goes, ha, it's funny. Yeah, he wins.
Funniest shit you'll ever
Yeah.
see.
Hmm?
I gotta be honest though, that's just asking to get your ass whooped if you aren't careful.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a photo. There's some, because obviously because it's also a card game. All the artwork is amazing. Like all the artwork for the RPG was, because they just used the card game art. Trying to find the photo of him. Yeah, I used to play members of generally members of the Unicorn Clan in it, because they're Mongols. They're
Nice.
Mongol horsemen. Because they're the clan that went beyond the bounds of the empire and came back. So they come back with like foreign customs. But yeah, check this out. I'll put it in the chat thing.
Just one
Just
sec.
grab the photo.
I'm making I'm painting a blade metallic green.
Mm-hmm.
I've been mixing paints a lot more recently, and I'm really mad at myself because like this is basic shit idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, but you don't think about it when you're painting until you start thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the learning experience. And I'm still learning after 18 years.
Alright, I can look at it now. Alright, let's check this shit out. Oh boy. That's sick as fuck. Chat. Chat, that's sick as fuck. A man saying I am the 50 strongest and he's standing like that? Are you fucking kidding me? That is a character I know my brother would play. And, like,
You s-
You think you'd hate that character. You think you'd come to hate them. And then you play with them, you're hanging out with them, and then you learn to love them. God, those characters make me so happy. I'm a very easy person to please.
I find photos of Hideka Sada, who is one of my favorite.
Oh, I also fully wrote out the lore to my warband of Emperor's Children, and I'll happily read it off as soon as I'm done painting this arm.
Oh boy,
So
I'm just curious. Where did their depravity start, and what is their flavor of depravity?
Their flavor? Let's put it this way. Lord Commander Eidolon told him to simmer the fuck down.
All I'm just picturing now is your Chaos Lord rocking up to some random high value asset. They're not going to kill, they're going to take back with them at the Eye of Terror, just appearing beyond, just going, we have such sights to show you.
They're... I tried to make them hypocritical idiots.
Your suffering shall be legendary, even in the Eye of Terror.
Kinda. I'll whip out my phone the second that I get this arm painted. By the way, holy shit, the amount of people that saw my flawless blade and are just like, what the fuck? Why is it so good? And I'm just like, I mixed
Practice, bitches.
lilac with flayed one flesh. Also, apparently people love the Lucius that I painted up, and I'm sitting here, like, losing my shit, because I'm like, it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. Alright, where's the,
Look, I get you're making Emperor's Children, you're making Lucius. You don't have to embody the character's flaws whilst you're trying to paint it.
Alright, Princes of Excess. Their colors are white, Phoenician purple, and Arc gold. War cry is more. Give us more. Their tactics are rapid shock assault and hit and run. Their commander's name is Gideon the Chosen Prince. Quotes on that one. Massive air quotes on that one. And their current homeworld is New Chemos. Is it Chemos or
That
Chemos?
sounds lovely.
Chemos.
Chemos. Okay. All right. The Princes of Excess were born shortly after the Emperor's Children became a scattered warband during the Horus Heresy. Led by a former member of a highly accomplished Palatine Blade Squad by the name of Gideon, the Princes would lead successful raids and campaigns of debauchery across the western fringes. Though they would rejoin their Primarch in the Legion for the Battle of Terra, Lord Gideon and his flock of sycophants would abandon the siege after Fulgrim quit the battle, choosing instead to flee back to the Emperor's Children's homeworld of Chemos. However, knowing that retribution from Loyalist forces would be swift and brutal, Gideon and his warband would arrive over Chemos and quickly raid its population centers, kidnapping hundreds of thousands of slaves to bring them to the Eye of Terror. Once in the Eye of Terror, and with the Legion Wars well underway, Lord Gideon lost the last semblance of his sanity and had truly become a delusional tyrant within his warband, declaring that all those Emperor's Children not born of Cheminician stock were Emperor-loving bastards in all but name, and enforcing strict breeding among the slaves of Chemos, so his warband could have true Cheminician blood in their veins, showing his ever-worsening delusions. Lord Gideon and his closest warriors started dubbing himself as the Chosen Prince, as he claims that Fulgrim himself had celebrated the successes of Gideon, though this would lead to blows with Lord Commander Eidolon, who dared claim that Gideon was a delusional upstart as he was there that day and Fulgrim merely gestured in a vague direction when complimenting his sons. The Princes of Excess have vowed to always attack any force led by Lord Commander Eidolon, even if Fulgrim himself ordered them not to. In the current time, the Princes of Excess have kept their raiding numbers small, Though a Legion-sized company force, they stick to raiding and pillaging sectors of space that the Imperium and other Xenos empires have ignored or put token forces in. Though all signs for those Inquisitors keeping track of the Warband's movements find them heading towards Chemos. As Lord Gideon has grown desperate for the attention of his Primarch again, committing acts so heinous and horrifying that it would surely bring Slaanesh's notice, hopefully gifting him with the presence and infectious aura of Fulgrim again. Though several times Gideon and his men have mistaken demon princes and even greater demons of Slaanesh as their Primarch in the throes of passion and war, making them easy pawns for the Dark Prince and their Primarch. Maybe on Chemos they hope to find the place where Fulgrim was found and conduct a ritual so heinous that Fulgrim nor Slaanesh could not ignore it. That's the warband.
Yep, I can. That's pretty grounded. I like that. That is very nicely grounded in the lore. I can easily see that level of debauchery going on.
Oh,
Like, no, we must be pure in the pursuits of excess, and only those of Caversian blood are truly pure enough to understand what we have. All those beneath us are nothing.
and then I wrote out,
And especially what they do with dreadnoughts.
since the Emperor's children don't have Hellbrutes, I can't do anything with that, sadly.
Oh, so what? They can't have Hellbrutes?
Yeah, they don't have Hellbrutes in their army.
Which fucking genius designed this? You have the perfect opportunity to make an absolute mockery of the pain engine that the Sister Battle has.
I'll get into it in a minute for like why I think they didn't include it. Aside from just like the speed at which they need to make a codex. But here I have their two major beliefs down as well. The Warband practices two beliefs: the rites of Chemos and the belief of isolation. The rites of Chemos means that only those born of Chemonician stock and its people deserve a spot within the Emperor's Children Legion, their stock and recruits being solely from New Chemos, a demon world that was shaped to resemble their old homeworld. This belief has led the world to be separated into three classes: the Warband, the Chemonicians, and the Slaves. Though the Chemonicians are treated better than the Slaves, they are still treated as stock for more potential recruits, being watched at all times to make sure their nobility isn't tainted with impurities from the slaves they regularly fraternize with. If a Chemonician is found to have a child with a slave, they are quickly captured and then unspeakable things happen to them, with their fates ending as distilled drugs for the Warband, a aggressive stimulant reminding them of the crimes of those who dare taint their purity. The last belief is of isolation, is done while en route to places of war. Believing that constant stimuli dulls the sensations and bliss they feel, the Warband sends the warriors chosen for the raid into what's called the Vaults. The Vaults are Iron Maidens, hollowed out and refitted with dark technologies that sever the occupants' nerves and senses, causing them to experience nothing. No touch, sound, sight, taste, or smell can be experienced while inside the vault, leading to members of the Warband experiencing extreme withdrawals. The purpose is to make these warriors so desperate for stimulation that they will fight harder and conduct more depraved actions in the field once released from said vaults.
Question, what stops them from fighting each other out of desperation? As soon as they come out, they immediately need to feel something, so they just start literally fighting each other.
The goal is that they are unleashed as soon as the Thunderhawk's ramps are dropped.
Fair.
Or sorcerers conduct rituals that teleport them onto the planet's surface and the Iron Maidens just slam open.
Yeah, I can see that. That would do very nice, because I'll just picture just waking up, just being like the meme, just, hey, you got any more of that bliss?
Don't worry, they had to figure it out. Don't worry, the first batch they did that to. Yeah, that raid failed horribly.
Along with the commander who came up with a great idea, that poor apothecary.
But yeah, so Emperor's Children.
The Iron Maidens into the drop pods.
That was actually if Chaos Marines are ever allowed to have drop pods again, which I doubt we ever fucking will, big sad. That is the goal.
Just,
If
I said,
Chaos
just give us
Space
that
Marines get drop
M36.
pods, I would like you to know, World Eater drop pods is going to be a thing. Fuck everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
That's terrifying.
I am going to be the largest fuckhead known to society with those.
They mentioned Dreadclaws a shit ton of times in the Nachman book, so they might be bringing them back at some point.
God, I wish they would. But so
But guess what? You'll have terrain attached to your model, like the bloody drop pods. I'm still salty over that.
They're coming out this weekend.
woo, drop
Yeah,
pods.
but I'm still so annoyed by that. Just yes, we're gonna have my chapter are from a wonderful desert planet, so the terrain around is gonna be desert. We're playing on an agri world. Fuck.
So yeah, the Emperor's Children Codex. The Emperor's Children units are their special melee and shooty squad for their battle line. Then they have 2 elite choices, which are Terminators and Flawless Blades. And then they only get 3 vehicles, which are the Land Raider, the Rhino, and the Mauler Fiend. And now, aside from the fact that this codex very much feels like it was rushed, but they had to put like some sort of limiter on it before they released it, or else they would have infinitely more problems than they did with the World Eater's first release. The Emperor's Children army rule is that they get to charge and fall, like they get to shoot even after they advance, charge even after they advance, and pull out of combat, still be able to shoot and charge. That's their army rule.
Against
Right.
something else. As long as it's against something else.
Yeah, but if they do advance and shoot, or they fall back, they cannot shoot at the same unit another Emperor's Children unit shot at. And if they fall out of combat, they cannot charge the same unit that they just fell back from. Because like the theme is that they got bored and left.
Well, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Basically, but at first I was like, that's dumb. Like, why where the fuck are our units? And then I actually sat and thought about it for like half a minute and went, oh no, this is broken. Even with the restrictions, this is broken as shit. Because imagine having Forge Fiends with that ability. Being able to advance and shoot.
I think the only way I would say about that is this does not apply to vehicles would be the rule that would make sense.
It should be that way. It does not apply to their vehicles. But then again, Emperor's Children at that point would be the only army in the game whose vehicles don't benefit from their army rule.
True.
Which, you can't have that either. So, as someone who also just experienced... As someone who also just experienced the absolute hell of fighting Death Guard Hellbrutes...
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare fuel.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And
Get
so...
rushed or get fucked.
How do you balance out Emperor's Children's new army rule and new ability without breaking the game in half?
It does remind me a little bit of what they did to the Blood Angels in, was it 4th edition? 4.5? The infamous White Dwarf Codex?
Was that the Deep Striking Dante Land Raider thing?
Yes, it was the one where they removed Sanguinary Priests, a lot of stuff. It was a very unpopular. Basically, they didn't even, one of the originals, they put the Codex in a bloody White Dwarf, which became a source of much contrition and anger as a result of that. And I do remember one thing, someone actually made...
You got a Codex like 3 years later in 5th edition. This was not like the worst thing that...
No, at the time, because I remember at the time, it was a real kick in the teeth. And in fact, one of my favourite things I ever saw was someone made This was during, I think it was the time of the doubles tournaments, or just before that. One of the requisites you had to make for these tournaments was you had to build 3 separate objective markers on a Terminator width base. So typically you'd have them associate the army. What this one absolute mad lad did was they modeled 3 different aspects showing what had been lost from the old Blood Angels Codex. So they had, the first one was the famous one of a Blood Angel using the old missile launcher holding arm to facepalm, whilst they managed to print off a mini white dwarf of that one, put it onto like a book that's on the ground, as if to say they just read it. And then the next one had, I think it had a dead sanguinary priest and other bits that were taken out. And then the third one had that, and they took it to fucking Warhammer World for a tournament to show their displeasure.
To be fair, the codex that it had replaced was a 15-page supplement book.
Yeah, I know. Again, it's the whole thing. It's unacceptable.
It's people overreacting.
They felt they've been downgraded more. Oh yeah, but I got it. The method of modeling spite though was sublime. Because if you're gonna tell Games Workshop, I'm not pleased with this, that's probably one of the best ways I've ever seen to show, we're not happy. And doing it without insulting them or the usual nonsense as is the parlance of today's internet industry. That was fantastically built.
See, my brain is looking at that, and my brain is hearing that, and then just thinking to the like Dark Eldar player who's been sitting there and going, "Yeah, at least you got a freaking White Dwarf article."
There's always another bridge.
Well, like their codex came out in 1998. Their next codex came out in 2010.
Fuck.
I think.
Yeah, because they were the third edition starter box set, weren't they?
Yes.
Because I still have them. I still have those third edition Dark Elves. I'm about to say Dark Eldar back then.
Dark
Yeah,
Eldar,
I still have those from that time. Because I actually managed to find a third edition starter box set in like 2010. I got it for like 30 quid.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. Looking at how pale the grey plastic was back then in the 90s. But yeah, definitely with the Drukhari as they are now, they really felt much more maligned. But it was a weird time, a very strange time. Because you had like all these main codices, like of course Astartes. It was the era of Matthew Ward. You had the Grey Knights suddenly had their big setup. The Astra Militarum or Imperial Guard had their whole thing. The Eldar had the Phil Kelly special. You had the Tau expanded. That's where they started introducing the horrors of Hammerheads as an even higher level, and the whole jump packing forwards and backwards in bloody shooting phase, which was such a pain in the ass. And then Chaos had the infamous.
I was going to say it's because they were jet infantry rather than jump infantry.
Yeah, that was such a that was what a pain that was, especially when you dealt with Fisher Furies and Searchlights. Good grief.
Yeah,
and then you have
Fisher
Chaos.
Fisher Fury is the one that everyone hated.
Yeah, that was my second ever game of 40k. I was introduced to the Fisher Fury.
Was a strategy of load an ethereal up in a devilfish and then let him get killed, right?
No.
Essentially, what? No. It was two. You had 2 devilfish, I think they were called, and they rock up with a whole stack of units in them. And then outcome. I think it was Terra Regular. It was regular Firehouse. It wasn't Pathfinders, and it would just block a whole section off with their drones and their marker lights. They were just shooting gallery your forces if you couldn't get near them. It was, and there were so many of them. If you locked into combat, it took you 2 turns to get rid of the damn things.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was what you did is you drove the devilfish up, you turned them sideways, so they basically blocked off a section of the wall. Then the troops jumped out of them behind the devilfish. The Tau could shoot through their own transports because they were skimmers. But if you tried to shoot back, they got cover, and the infantry would get cover, and you only hit and if you tried to charge the devilfish to get rid of them in close combat, because they were skimmers, you only hit them on a 6. So you had to try to charge around, because you couldn't charge through the devilfish, because they basically 2 of them locked together, so you had to try to charge round them, which was a tough thing when you're only moving like your movement plus d6.
Can I admit a 40k sin? I did that shit in
Depends.
7th edition as Concaradons.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, because at this time though, this was even worse. I mean, when I played that second game, the guy I played against, he parked it in a in a valley. So he
Oh.
had these 2 hills which made cliffs. So he just blocked off an entire section, so I couldn't even flank him on the side because he then had like a hammerhead on the left and a pair of
Yeah, 'cause
XD88 Crises. So it was just not impossible. That was like my second ever game. It was interesting.
Yeah, because that was also the problem. Because if you like, oh, just use some anti-tank against the devilfish, there's only a transport. It's like, yeah, if I'm using my anti-tank against the devilfish, I'm not firing at the hammerhead.
Yeah, which at the time it wasn't like a. I don't know what the damage of it was because it was like it was stronger than the last cannon. It was like a strike 10, wasn't it? And it was rending.
Yes, and also I believe large blast template. I want to say.
I can't remember if it was. I don't know if it was large blast template because it was a railgun. I thought it was a precision weapon. I mean, it's been so long now. The PTSD has finally been cleared.
And then I had to sit
Hang on, look
there
it
and
up.
listen
Do
to
we want the-
people. I had to sit there
Do we
and
want the
listen.
4th edition or do we want the 4th edition or 3rd edition one?
It was 4th edition was what I played, so that would have been the 4th edition.
Okay.
As I
So
sit
it's-
here
that's
and remember
Titan.
when people were freaking out about 9th edition fucking hammerheads. Aramis.
all the old hands, they're like, you don't know.
People, for those that don't know, in 40k there are like 3 kinds of saves. There's your armor save, your invulnerable save, which is like a force field, and then like a feel no pain, which is like you just ignore it. When 9th edition Tau came out, they redid the hammerhead model. Its gun was strength. God, I think it was like strength 16. One shot, strength 16.
Yeah.
AP minus 5. Damage.
Jesus.
Damage. D6 plus
Defense
6. D6 plus 6. And then
Oh, God.
on a wound roll of 6, it did like D3 additional mortal wounds.
So you rock up a Demon Prince, or if you had, say, at the time would have been even Gulliver or Marnis Calgal, or for me I would have had Lysander or Pedro Cantor. It was just, oh, there's a hammer. There's your independent character, it's dead.
And people... Oh, and you couldn't take invulnerable saves against it.
Yeah. Which, for Terminators and all the other bits, or if you had like a, something that was that important, it was just, that was it. If they got first turn the shooting phase, if you didn't have it in cover or out of line of sight, or you had them in reserve, goodbye.
I was quoted as saying, "This is not as bad as everyone's making it out to be."
And then everyone overreacted, saying, how dare you think this is not as bad as how it is? Can you not see the truth? Can you not see through the lies of the Jedi? As I saw one person quote at one point.
It was... So, my brother plays Tau, right? I regularly fight Tau. My main concern was never the hammerheads, because a hammerhead, it's killing 1 to 3 models. Cool, whatever. For someone who plays horde armies, that's nothing. My main complaint came from the fact that their flamethrowers acted like plasma guns. And their plasma guns acted like melta-guns. And their melta-guns were fucking las cannons.
Okay, so I have the stats. I have the stats for the 4th edition Tau Codex here. If you want.
Sure.
Okay, hang on. I'm just before you start, I'm going to get myself a stiff drink of port so I can recover from this.
Right.
Right.
So bearing in
you're going to
mind,
hear it. Hold on.
well,
That's the one
I need to set this up. Bearing in mind that back in the day, the way you killed a vehicle is you rolled a d6, added it to your weapon strength, and if you got equal to or higher than the vehicle's armor value, you did a penetrating hit. Or if you got equal to, you got a glancing hit, and if you got higher than, you got a penetrating hit. and I believe Land Raiders were armor value 13 all the way around.
I think they were
Yeah, that was
14.
their-
I think they were that was made so especially they were the only one that had a 14 all round. Because that was the highest option, I think, if I remember. Because 13 was the front of a Predator, I think.
I might
Yeah,
need to
a
look
pre-
that up in a second.
Yeah, a Predator
let me
was
see.
13, 11, 10. A Rhino was 11, 11, 10. The Razorback was the same. The Vindicator, I think, was also a 13, 11, 10. Might have been 12, 11, 10.
I
But I'm pretty
seem
sure
to
the
remem- I
Land
seem-
Raider was that.
I seem to remember that Russes were actually higher armor than Space Marine tanks generally.
Yeah, I remember the Lehman
Um,
Russ being 14, 12, and then 10 on the back.
Yeah, 1 second. I've got it. I've got it here. Thank you, Internet, for out of print books.
I gotta grab mine actually. I've got my 4th edition comics not far from me.
Okay.
Go be
well,
that person. Grab it.
I'm currently in the middle about to cook my stir fry. Actually, I've literally just finished. Unfortunately, I discovered that the meat I had gone off, so I had to break out some.
Oh,
So I've got some ham trimmings in emergency instead. Also, I'm just going to shoot this into the chat. This is the first time I've actually used this shot glass in anger since I actually played 4th and 5th edition Tyro Hammerheads, because this was my club's. We actually had club shot glasses.
Anyways,
okay, you are correct. You are correct. It was 14 all the way around. I forget that. So it was strength plus 1d6 or strength plus 2d6. I can't remember. Was it just 1d6? It's been a while.
I think it was
since I played
1d6.
4th edition. Yeah. Okay. We'll say strength plus because so like a las cannon in general is strength 9. So generally you need to roll 5s or 6s to penetrate the hull on Land Raiders or Lehman Russes. So the railgun on the Hammerhead was range 72, which was longer range than the
remember that.
las cannon, and could be fired in one of 2 modes. It could be fired as a solid shot, which was strength 10, arm piercing 1. Now that doesn't mean it's -1 to your armor. This is 4th edition. That means unless you have a 1-up armor save, you do not get an armor save for anything that is not a vehicle. It was strength 10 and heavy 1, which means it made 1 shot and couldn't fire if it moved. Which means that it's penetrating the armor of a Land Raider, or generally you can fire it at like a Predator tank, because like it's comparative. So like you fire it at a Predator, it's going to pierce the front armor on a 3+. Bearing in mind that in 4th edition, if you get a penetrating hit, the best result is you don't get to move or fire that round.
Crew stunned. Unless you had Power of the
One-
Machine Spirit, you paid extra for.
Yeah, okay, but 1 in 6 chance of if the worst result was the best result you get is you don't get to move and shoot that turn, which means you just took a Predator out of the game for a turn. And 4, 5, and 6 all destroyed the vehicle.
And if it was a 6, you went kaboom.
It exploded. So essentially 3 up to potentially just 1 shot a Space Marine tank at the longest range in the game at the time.
Yeah, and for context, that
You
is 6 foot, if I remember, 72 inches.
Yep. That's basically the longboard edge at the time.
Yeah, so that's basically in games we had, because typically you get you the 8x10. That is 70%, 75% of the table would be in range of this vehicle.
Yeah. And you could also fire it in submunition mode, which was strength 6, AP 4, which meant it ignored anything with a 4-up armor save. Just ignores that.
Sorry,
So
guard.
so guard, other Tau,
Scouts.
all Eldar basically, all crew.
I say, would that be
not Space
mega knobs?
No, they were in 2-up. They were same as
Terminators.
Terminators. as far as I remember.
Regular knobs,
I
though,
could be
yeah,
wrong.
regular knobs would get fucked.
Yeah, that's thinking. I might be thinking regular knobs.
But heavy 1, again, just one shot. Large blast marker.
That's the large blast one, right?
No,
I remember it
chat.
now.
Chat, back in the day, when you were doing, like, explosive ammunition or flamethrowers, they had, like, special templates. The two standard
Tiny
templates...
plates.
The two standard templates were a 3-inch circle and a 5-inch circle. The
This is the
hammerhead...
5-inch circle.
This is the 5-inch circle. That is usually covering, like, 5 to 7 models.
Yeah, because when you had 2-inch cohesion between your miniatures as well, if it was like, Space Marine Squad, you pretty much, if you rolled poorly, you could have lost pretty much your entire demi squad, or even a whole tactical squad if you bunched them up really tight. If they've just deployed out of a vehicle, for example. It was not a good time. It was nasty.
I mean, they'll get an armor save because they'll get their 3-up armor save.
I was saying, if you have bad luck, which I did, like I said, I am the man with lamented luck. I am infamous for this. Like I said, my plasma guns have killed their own wielders more than the enemy, including one behind one.
Oh,
Gotta love scatter.
I think I used up all my luck at the event, by the way.
Yeah.
Because yesterday I played a Horus Heresy game. So I had in my army 2 Deredeo Dreadnoughts. My brother was letting me borrow 2 of his Deredeos. A Kratos, a Land Raider Spartan, 2 Sicarans, and 2 Rhinos. Those are all the vehicles I brought.
How many points was this?
This was like a big-ass game, like a big narrative game that we were playing.
I was thinking that sounds walked out an apocalypse game.
Yeah, I believe the Sons of Horus had like 6,000 points of vehicles.
Jeez.
So we have eventually, like, knights appear in our back line, because, like, that's just how we flavored the narrative. And a knight fired into my Rhino. Well, not my Rhino, my Land Raider Proteus that I had.
Right.
My Proteus exploded, which then proceeded to hit a Sicaran on 1 wound, a Deredeo on 1 wound, and kill them. And in Horus Heresy, when a Dreadnought dies, it automatically explodes. Which then took out a Rhino. Which then also took out the Kratos. Oops.
It's just the way things.
And then it also took out the other Deredeo.
Can I have some of that luck, please? I will admit, my last ever game I played, which was at Warhammer World about a year and a half ago, I did have good luck in one game. I think it was the only luck I had that weekend.
I also
But
only had a
goodness
4-inch charge to make to get into the front line of the Sons of Horus tanks with a squad of Cataphracti Terminators with chain fists. A 10-man squad led by a champion. By all accounts and purposes, if that squad made it into the front line, those tanks would have been fucked. I rolled double 1s.
Oh, no.
They then proceeded to get their shit wrecked by fucking a squad of dreadnoughts.
How much internal swearing went through your mind at that point?
I just accepted it.
Yeah, same as me then. You did the same as me. Yeah, I gratuitously embrace the demise. I mean, I really should make a Lamentus on this point. I really should. I've got enough plastic to do so.
Like, I'm not the kind of person to complain about my lot in life. And, like, I did very well at the Warhammer Open. So, like, I'm not gonna bitch about my luck.
Fair.
I know Will's seen the video. I don't know if anyone else has seen it.
Coming
I'm
soon.
not gonna
Also-
spoil it for
Yeah.
like,
I'm not gonna say anything either. I don't know who's
No.
seen the video and who has.
Nope.
Yeah, but I think I've got that on my to-watch list at some point tomorrow, because tomorrow's my day off.
Nice.
I just have not had time to yet.
It comes out
Meanwhile,
this
now that-
Saturday.
Now that we finished that discussion of Hammerheads, I now have this short pause to enjoy, because I need that remembering the pain. I can hear the sound of me putting my miniatures back in the foam in my old Games Workshop case.
it's fine. Like I was also looking up what Markolites used to do back in the day.
What they used
I'll
to
get the
do.
bottle.
What they used to do.
And network Markolites where you had so one model in the unit had to give up shooting in order to use a Markolite.
I remember that from
kinda
5th
makes
edition.
sense. It was range 36, and in 4th edition, it allowed the vehicle to fire a single seeker missile at a marked target at a ballistic skill of 5. Okay, fine. That again, a ballistic skill of 5 meant you hit on a 3-up.
Hit
I
on
believe?
2-up.
2 up.
Is that 2-up? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 4
You
up.
take-
4 up was ballistic skill
take
4
your-
was 3.
Yeah, take your ballistic skill, subtract it from 7.
Thank you. So that's a 2-up. Allows you to use it would allow you to do any or all of the following: to allow a unit which fires at a target to do a +1 ballistic skill up to a maximum of 5. To allow the firing unit to automatically pass the target priority test for shooting at a marked unit declared before the test is made, because at the time you had to shoot at the closest target unless you passed a leadership test to not shoot at the closest target, which was a rule I liked back in the day. Unless you were like a vehicle, your squads would get like distracted by up close people. To allow a unit firing, to ignore all the effects of night fighting.
That would piss me off.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we used to have Dawn of War and all the other ones back in the day.
For this turn of the game, it is at night, so everything is dark. So if you don't have spotlights on your
Searchlights.
searchlights on your tanks, you can't see things.
Ah, yes. When you don't bring
Or
floodlights.
Auspexes.
Yeah. To impose a -1 leadership penalty on the marked unit for the purposes of any pinning test caused by the firing weapon.
I'm
Mhm.
feeling that anger again.
And to impose -1 on any cover saves taken by the marked unit. Because again, back in the day, you didn't just get like a bonus from cover. Cover was a separate save that you took instead of an armor save.
No, chat. Tau were the new faction at the time.
Yeah, because it was Necrons and Tau, wasn't it, at the same time? But Tau was still the post boys, because Necrons were just walking automatons.
In third edition, yeah, they actually designed Necrons and Tau basically at the same time, and the Necrons were the idea was the Necrons are the oldest race in the galaxy and the Tau are the youngest.
Yeah,
That is
it's thematic.
All I can say to that, though, after hearing all that, is this: I need more. I've just opened the cork again. I might drink this from the bottle this time.
But yeah, like
Because, Jesus, I forgot about
I'm-
Monoliths, though. I think that's the other only 14 armor round for it.
14 all
wasn't it?
round, yeah, 14 all round on
The
the Monolith,
cheese.
yeah.
The
It was also the
absolute
only vehicle that
cheese.
Necrons had. It was also the only vehicle that Necrons had for like 2 editions.
Oh, it also had an
Yeah,
instant kill
they-
attack.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, the Hammerhead gun, that's strength 10. If any of your stuff was toughness 5 or was toughness 5 or less, and it hit you, it just killed you.
Instant death.
He died.
Strength,
What do you
strength,
mean?
double your toughness, just die. You don't like. It doesn't just take off a wound; it kills you outright.
Hope your character had Eternal Warrior.
Death. What kind of death? Instant.
Instant.
Oh.
Hope you had Eternal Warrior there. Why did Cadia take so long to finish?
Because they didn't actually want it to end. Is the reason?
Okay. So
There wasn't meant to be a meta plot.
So, yeah, as Will says, there wasn't meant to be a meta plot. In actual 40k, it's because Abaddon was always circumventing Cadia and doing things elsewhere, and essentially like setting up plot after plot after plot after plot, and Cadia would just be the start of that domino effect when he was ready with everything else.
I mean, not to mention, you're talking about one of the biggest fortress Imperial worlds outside of Terra.
Yeah.
Very few planets had more Astra Militarum, had more Space Marines. I mean, they had the Astartes Praecies patrolling around that area, 20 chapters dedicated around the Eye of Terror. You had mostly Imperial Navy, Mechanicum. This was the reach from the UNSC in Halo terms of 40k for the Imperium. Because outside of Sol System, nothing was bigger, apart from maybe I'd say possibly Ultramar and
Ultramar's not anywhere near. Yeah, Ultramar's not anywhere near as heavily defended though.
Yeah, true. So yeah, otherwise the Tyranids would have had a bit more of a harder time. So yeah, that's it. This was one of the biggest fortified areas. To get that through, we were expecting the Eternal War to be literally eternal. That was never meant to be something that would follow. The fact when they told me that Cadia has blown up, I was like, beg pardon? They're advancing the plot to such an egregious level that Cadia has pulled a Caliban.
Caliban at least
not
had the
expecting that.
dignity of getting blown up by an armada.
True. I mean, nobody's applied any engines yet to...
I was going to say, it was more the crashing the Blackstone Fortress into it.
Yeah, it's...
As depicted in the game Battlefleet Gothic 2 for available now on Steam.
Yeah, so for those... Cadia was always supposed to be like this big, never-ending war zone for the forces of chaos and the Imperium. It was always supposed to be like that constant stalemate. Then GW was like, we need to raise the stakes, we need to bring stuff, we need to like progress the narrative forward because holy fuck, we need to bring in new models and shit, and we need like justification for it. So here, as well as the Warhammer. Another reason, from what he's constantly talked about, I'm starting to think less and less this was the reason. The Eye of Terror campaign. For those that don't know, GW had a real loving habit of releasing campaigns that were influenced by the players. They did this with the Second War for Armageddon. Well, Third War for Armageddon, not Second War. I don't remember. They did it with one more campaign. I don't remember the other campaign they did it for.
In 40k, they did it with... originally, they did it with... oh, God. What's it called?
Medusa 5.
No, Medusa 5 is one
Medusa
of them.
5.
And then they did it... Then they also did it with... Second Tyrannic War.
Yeah, Second Tyrannic War. There we go.
What was it? What is the planet called? Oh God, it's the one where the Ultramarines fight the Tyranids. It's not Macrae.
Icar.
In this Icar 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those campaigns.
And then in Fantasy they did. Isle of Blood and Isle of Blood, which was Albion, and the Storm of Chaos, which was the last big one.
So, for the Eye of Terror campaign, from what I've researched, and I could be wrong, there was two sides. There was the side of Order, which was every Imperial faction, which at the time was Space Marines, Imperial Guard, and Sisters of Battle. Because Mechanicus wasn't a thing yet. And neither were Knights.
Also Eldar.
Yeah,
Also
and Eldar.
was on that side.
And Eldar. Then for the Forces of Chaos, the Forces of Disorder, it was Chaos and Demons.
Mm-hmm.
So, chat, I want you to tell me something. Who's winning this fight just by sheer numbers alone? It was not even a contest. The Forces of Chaos got their shit rocked. Because more people play regular Space Marines, play Imperial Guard, and Eldar at the time than Chaos Space Marines and Demons.
I can actually tell you, as someone who played in it, it's the other way around.
Really?
Yes, Chaos did too well because the people that played Chaos Space Marine armies were the older players who generally were tournament players, and every little John and Timmy that comes in off the street at GW gets handed a Space Marine.
I was told that the Imperium rocked Chaos as shit.
No.
Maybe region to region it changed.
Yeah, possibly. At least in the UK, it was very much like it was a Chaos like. That was why it was like. That's why the Chaos players thought it was bullshit. That basically it turned into like Chaos wins everywhere, but they still don't win the war. For ages.
They may have not won U.S. and other places.
Could be.
In Canada, I was told like, nah, Chaos got shit rocked.
Okay, so in Canada's tournament scene, Chaos absolutely fucking fumbled the ball.
Either way,
All right then.
GW does not like. They like their stuff to be more close to the wire, kind of a thing, because it makes everyone look good. Like the Force of Chaos look intimidating, but the Force of the Imperium look strong and tough, and the Eldar continue to look competent and elegant. And then you have these wildly different results depending on where you lived, where either Chaos shit-rocked everybody, or Chaos did fuck all. And it was such an embarrassing loss that, like, they looked like the Cobra, like, it looked like G.I. Joe Cobra from the 80s. That kind of embarrassing. And you don't want that kind of embarrassment when it comes to, like, your big, bad, evil guy faction.
This is also, like, really early, internet, wargaming internet. So, like, there were Yahoo groups. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
That, like, were forming up around, like, certain, like, campaign sectors. Like, people formed, like, to, like, organize and, like, pull their results. And then, like, there were people from, like, the other side infiltrating those groups, like, to learn what, like, the battle plans were so that they could, like, counter it and stuff. This was the campaign that originally got me playing 40k. Because, like, properly. Because I'd been primarily a Warhammer Fantasy and Lord of the Rings player at my local store. And one of the guys who worked at the store came up with a plan where he rang round all the other stores in Scotland and also in I think some of the north of England and stuff, and like got them to do this as well. And they all basically, he recruited me and a couple of my friends and like a bunch of us that used to just hang around in the Games Workshop store, and got us to start playing Space Marine armies badly against like all the people he knew who were hardcore tournament player Chaos Space Marine players. So we got our shit wrecked for about 2 months. And he recorded all of these results and he reported them all on one system, so that there was one system, and like he was primarily like an Alpha Legion player, so it was incredibly well like fitting. And like it's in it. I can't remember if it was in a White Dwarf article, like talking about like key battle zones of like the campaign or whatever. But he's named in it. It's called Opera. The guy was called Alex, and it got into like one of the like after action reports that there had been a massively successful chaos incursion wiping out multiple Space Marine forces led by a warlord known as Alexius the Cunning.
Oh my god! I read that one!
Yeah.
My auntie bought me like a whole fucking box of like old wargaming magazines while I was sick with like pneumonia or something. I can't remember what I had. But like I remember reading that.
Yeah.
And now you know what happens.
It was literally, he was like phoning around like getting a whole bunch of like other store like managers and like store staff to like also report like victories like in this particular area and stuff like that, and just to try
I think I love this. At the time, GW head office absolutely knew what was going on. And they said,
Oh, yeah.
continue. They knew exactly. It was like sitting in Nottingham, they must have been laughing their asses off, going, "Yeah, this is exactly what we wanted."
It's
very few have the vaunted, I think, award of being named as a character in 40k. I think of two others actually. Brother Argos, who founded the Bolts of Chainsword as the admin, becoming the Master of the Forge for the Salamanders, who sadly had to give up the hobby due to diabetic retinopathy. And there's one other one as well.
there's Pete Cantor, who was one of the playtesters for Rogue Trader.
That's it. Yeah, because he becomes Pedro Cantor.
He was Pedro Cantor. Yeah.
Where's my Pedro Cantor model, motherfuckers?
I'm kind of. I don't want to retire my custom-built Pedro Cantor model. So to put him on a bigger base.
Give me Pedro Cantor and give me Luftiron.
I mean, just give us the.
Honestly, no Huron Blackheart, please. Like, genuinely.
We gave Fabius Bile a model.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, we can do it with
But
Huron.
Cantor's too nice. He's too nice for 40k now.
No, he fits in with the new Gilliman-ified.
True. I mean, the Praetor incarnate.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at the image I sent to boss of Gilliman.
Oh no, I just.
Oh yeah, old man Gilliman.
Yeah, it's a comparison thing between Gilliman as he appeared in the first Stone of Fire, the cover of the first Stone of Fire book, and how he appears now. It's like, oh, he's had a hard time.
I compare it to like 2008 Obama to 2016 Obama.
Say the same thing.
Yeah.
Remember, children, world politics is a bunch of bullshit and will tire and stress you out.
My favorite one is still just the amount of people that are good, like, and then Gilliman discovered this thing, and he's like, you just imagine, like,
Obama went into office with no grays. He came out of office with almost all grays.
Mm-hmm.
He came out looking like my grandpa.
Yep.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't have to deal with the fact that apparently they don't know what year it is.
What?
Yeah, don't start that one.
That's easy, though. Wait, that's easy, though.
You would think.
What do you mean?
Think, don't start it. I'm asking.
No, I'm now. Nope. You've piqued my curiosity.
As the
what the
American
fuck are you
in the
talking
call,
about?
let's not, please.
All I'm saying is, all you need to do to work out time, you just go to the Mark of Calth. We know exactly what time that started when the Mark of Calth started. Right, what's the time of the clock now? Because the Mark of Calth hasn't ended. Right, there we are. Count back.
Yeah, allegedly when Gilliman, like one of the things he asked, like, when he becomes Lord Regent is like, okay, so, like, what year is it? And what he's told
you're
is,
talking in
we don't.
Warhammer. That actually happened in the US recently.
Oh, okay.
Oh
yeah,
god.
that's why I was like,
Yeah, I'm
hold
like,
on,
I
wait,
already know
no.
this. I know this part because like I read Ultramarine shit. Of course, I know about like
Yeah.
him
I
changing
thought you
the
were talking
fucking
about what
time
happened in the
scale.
States recently. Oh,
Yeah, but it's because apparently there was a religious schism in the Order of Kronos, so they couldn't decide what
Oh
year
yeah, I
it was.
forgot about that. Yeah, but that was a Dark Imperium, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, because yeah,
That was a moment where I slapped my forehead. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. This is
Also,
like French
can we
Revolution
get more-
bullshit.
Can we? Yeah, like oh yes, the month of Thermidor, that kind of stuff.
oh, I forgot about
Um,
that.
But like, can we get more Order Chronos stuff like in model form? Because they're Inquisitors who deal with time travel.
You do realise they would make a Doctor Who, or they would just be like 12. You know, how many Doctor Who's are there now? It would just be that band of Inquisitors.
I mean, just get that British
Yeah,
actor who's played Scrooge McDuck, one of the doctors from Doctor Who, and that
David
devil
Tennant.
guy from that one show.
David Tennant,
Yeah, David Tennant. Love him.
genuinely good guy.
Because I have seen someone do versions of him as an Inquisitor, actually, of David Tennant as the Doctor as an Inquisitor. It was a chap who did the Guardian Angels back in the day. Chapter Master Grey.
I'm gonna say it. He'd be a good Ravener.
Oh my god.
He
you're
would actually.
right.
Yeah, he make a great.
Oh my god, you're
Like-
fucking right. He's got the
If you're
sarcasm
gonna-
down.
Like if you're gonna do like Cavill as Eisenhorn, he's a good Ravener to that.
I just picture what Mr. Sheen would be.
I don't know, but he'd have to be in it somewhere. I mean, it's a British
Yeah, just-
production. If it's a British production, Martin Sheen will be in it in some form.
Yeah, actually,
Sorry, Michael Sheen. Sorry.
actually, no. I'm just picturing him being not an Inquisitor as such, but just some random Adeptus Ministorum person they have to deal with.
Yeah, like just some random Clark, like in a.
Yes.
Oh, just do
Some
like
hawkish
the
Adeptus
just do
Ministorum
what
Clark.
just do what fucking Critical Role did with Matt Mercer and just have him as a cameo role in every fucking episode. Or
That would
just
be
like
hilarious.
with like DVZA where they had to get like Taka in on like every fucking credit roll. So they gave him a single line in each movie. So that way he could be in the credit roll.
Yeah, I'm just I would laugh if he see Michael Sheen being turned into, yes, you heard it right, an Eversaurus.
I can smell you.
Hey,
Hi,
hey,
T-Com.
T-Com.
What's up?
We're talking about like who would be perfect for characters in Warhammer. Because we're a bunch of fucking
Interesting.
nerds and that's like what we do.
Yes. And we're goddamn proud of it.
Interesting.
I mean, to be fair, people have told us for years, like, who would be the Primarchs, who would be this. I mean, we've had so many over the years. I mean, I would love to see who's the girl who played what's her name in Bear Island in Game of Thrones.
Fuck, I don't remember her name.
I think she was in Last of Us as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Marie of Tormont, I believe, from like the show,
Yeah.
but I don't remember her actress's name.
Imagine her as Latara. Picture this: her playing Latara Saren.
I want Zendaya to play a Sister of Battle.
The Zendaya again?
Or a Sister of Silence. She played,
She played Mary
she
Jane.
played Shawnee. Yeah, she's the new MJ, basically.
Yeah, it's Tom Holland's partner.
Oh yeah.
She played Shaundi in the new Dune movies.
Okay.
What
Oh yeah,
else
she
has
did.
she
I
been?
forgot that was her.
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff, and I'm actually like, she's a really great actress. I love her.
You know, I will say this: if they ever want to do the Sisters of Battle books as a movie, I would not mind her being the main character.
It's Sanctuary 101.
If we had to choose like named actors for stuff, I would choose her for that.
Yeah. Has she done like an action movie before? I don't think so.
Outside of Spider-Man.
Unless you count the Marvel movies she's been in. No.
And
I
Dune.
mean, does Dune count with some of the action in that? Like when the Fremen are attacking the space?
I don't know if she's in any of the action scenes.
I think she's in one in the second film where they do the attack on the spice
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Okay,
the
I
assault
haven't
on
watched
Arrakeen.
them. Yeah, I haven't watched them, so I wasn't sure. Thank you for clarifying.
I highly recommend them. They are amazing.
Yeah, they are very, very good. So we talked about this last time I was on.
Yeah. It's something I talk about when it comes to adapting books to movies. I don't want them to be one-to-one faithful creations. I already have the book.
I think with that one, there are certain things you have to have. I mean, I said,
Yeah.
you know, as like for example, when J.K. Rowling's films came out back in the early noughties, as a kid, I was incensed that in the third book they didn't include the fact that they won the Quidditch Cup for Gryffindor. That was like such a big thing, and it didn't include. That was very annoying. That was what really turned me off a lot of book adaptations into films, because they cut out some very important scenes. Because you saw that in a number of other book versions of stuff where they had to cut out because of production reasons, plot line, variety, production costs.
Yeah.
So I've always been very, very skeptical. So I can understand fully there are, stuff has to be made in a way that it will not be fully faithful to the book, but it will have the spirit of the book. I mean, other example is How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, Master Haddock, he is a very different character in the books compared to the films.
Or like them, they cut a very famous scene from the Dune books, the dinner scene, for the movies, which helps establish a lot of the early politics, who sits where, like who sides with who, and why they side with them. It's a very, and you're figuring it out as Paul is figuring it out in the book, so it's very tense.
Yeah, and the thing with that is they didn't have to, because you had a visual format as opposed to a reading format. So you could skip the whole, think of the right word for it, pageantry of that scene, because the viewer already knows where people stand, because the film displays it in visual form as opposed to what we had before.
Yeah, and as long as they stick to the spirit of the original...
Yeah, that's actually...
I usually don't mind.
That's actually something I learned recently. For those that don't know, I watch a YouTuber called Totally Not Mark. Really, really good creator and everything. It's actually his Dragon Ball Z videos that got those Dragon Ball Z abridged boo bits.
Really?
Yeah, those are the reasons why those exist. He basically went back and re-reviewed all of Dragon Ball, from when Goku first met Bulma to the very ending of GT, and reviewed Super, everything. He went deep diving. For those that don't know, Akira Toriyama did not like the anime interpretation of Goku.
Nope.
Because when you read manga Goku and watch anime Goku, regardless if it's dub or not, the anime fucked up Goku's character.
In which fashion?
So, as Toriyama
Turn him
put
into
it...
an idiot.
No, it's not... That's not it. Goku is not a selfless person. He's a good person.
Oh, that's...
He's a good person.
But he's not as... He's just not as selfless as he's put to in the books, where he is the...
He does not make grand
speech. But he is the golden child.
Yeah, if you read the manga, in places in, like, the Frieza saga and the Saiyan saga, where he does, like, these big speeches, he doesn't fucking talk at all in that scene.
Yeah, it's because he's Sun Wukong.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
he does not let Vegeta go because he sees Vegeta as someone with potential to be better. He lets Vegeta go because, and I quote, "I want to fight him again."
Yeah.
He's... Now, no, that does not mean he's a bad person. It does not mean he's a killer, but he's selfish. He will do selfish things. He's flawed. Akira Toriyama described it as a poison within him that, although, like, you can see his reasoning, you can tell it's better if you just fucking killed them. In his battle against Frieza, he doesn't let Frieza power up to 100% because, oh, if I beat him at 100%, he'll learn his fucking place. No, in the manga, he clearly says, nah, he's fucking with me, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of him for it, even at 100%. Two very different reasons.
Essentially, he had more of a Vegeta vibe, like anime Vegeta, as opposed to.
They censor Vegeta a lot in
I was about to say.
in the anime too. Like Vegeta's a lot more cruel and vindictive in the manga.
So one of
Thinking
my
like, just him killing Nappa, that's perfectly fine. You have not seen anything yet, Sunshine.
So, my biggest example for Goku's character from the manga, kinda showing through in the anime, kinda, is when he tosses the Sensu Bean.
Yeah, like
That's about one of the few moments in the anime that really shows you Goku is very just for himself. Yes, he'll protect his kids, but if the fight's gonna be a more interesting fight, that's all he cares about.
well, actually, so another funny thing is, it shows that Goku isn't an idiot. He's a fighting savant. He's a fucking genius. And how Akira Toriyama wrote the Cell Saga is that he's emulating the 21st Budokai Tenkaichi. So, like, the very first tournament that Goku fought in. He's emulating that kind of storytelling, but instead of Roshi passing the torch down to Goku and Krillin as the next generation, he's using Goku to pass that torch along to Gohan. Because, like, that whole thing is setting up Gohan to be the next main character. The problem became for Goku that he was not paying attention to who Gohan is as a person. Where Goku is entirely a character of action, Gohan is entirely a character of reaction. I.e., Goku, when put up with a challenge, will go and punch it. Gohan needs to be told to do it, or shown why he needs to.
That's reasoning before action.
I was going to say there's also the fact that, he was wanting to do that, and then the publishers turned around and went, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
Because the other thing people do forget is Akira Toriyama had no fucking idea where Dragon Ball was going at basically any point.
Yeah,
Not until way later into the series.
Like, guys, Akira Toriyama is a great writer, but the man needed to, like, be reined in a lot. It's why the Buu Saga got out of fucking control.
Yeah, that's when I stopped watching, because the boost I was like, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, like I'll get into this in a minute, but like essentially
that's why Cell exists.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Android 19 and 20, so the fat fucking marshmallow and Dr. Gero were supposed to be the antagonists of the Android saga. But then Yukondo, Toriyama's editor at the time, said, and I quote, "So the bad guys are a fatso and an old man?" So then, basically just telling Toriyama, this is dumb, change it. So then he does. He makes Android 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so now the villains are just a couple of fucking brats? Again, he goes back to the drawing board and makes Cell. And then even with fucking Cell, he was getting pushback. Because he makes first form Cell, and the editor says he looks gross. change him. Okay,
That's the
well,
point.
okay, change him. Fine. Here's second form Cell. Now he looks like an idiot. Hurry up and make him perfect already. Now, with that, it's again, we put it in like terms of English. How things are said in Japanese is very different how they're said in English. These are us interpreting their words and spitting it back out. His words are a lot more polite, but like still like heavy criticism. Like, dude, come on. And then we get to the Boo Saga, where he has little oversight, and the problems come down to the entire story is Goku has handed the torch. He has like Gohan succeeded him. Gohan is now the hero of this story. And the story of the Boo Saga is basically how the older generations keep fucking up, and now it's up to the younger generations to clean up their fucking mess because they have the tools and the strength to do it. And there's this really beautiful moment where after everyone believes Gohan is fucking dead, and Vegeta has already sacrificed himself to try and stop Boo. And remember, it's because of Goku and Vegeta that Boo got free. Trunks and Goten actively criticize Goku and actively like call him out on his bullshit, where it's just like, you're supposed to be this amazing fighter. We were told since the day we could fucking understand language that you were the best, that you are the best, and now you're telling us that you can't even fight Boo. This is some bullshit. And Piccolo is the first one to chime in and say, how fucking dare you show Goku some respect? Because, like, of course, Piccolo knows Goku, but Goku stops Piccolo and just accepts the criticism because he knows he fucked up. And instead of, like, telling the kids, oh, you're fucking stupid, you don't get it, he's like, no, you're right. So what are you going to do about it? And let me teach you, with the limited time that I have, on how you guys can win. And that's a beautiful moment. Again, shows that Akira Toriyama knows how to write characters, knows what the fuck he's doing, and keeps going with that. And then the Boo Saga says, fuck that shit. The younger generations can't do fuck all to save themselves, and the older generation has to clean up their shit. And it's just like, what? What? Because, like, we have a moment where Gohan comes back. He's, like, the standing power on the field. He's staring Boo down, and it's just like, he's looking badass. He's looking like how he did in the Cell arc. And then not 3 chapters later, he's getting his ass handed to him. Because, and I quote from Akira Toriyama, I just don't think he was suited to the role.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I very much. I've read that and I'm like, yeah, no, you got notes again.
I saw like where it was going. Like, hey, Gohan is able to stand on his own 2 feet and be his own fighter, not because of his father, but in spite of him. And then they did that, and you're like, oh.
I want to die.
Hell.
After
Great,
they do
so
this
you built
whole
up to this
training arc with
amazing-
him.
Yeah, like you built up to this huge, amazing, personally moving moment, and then you just pull the rug out from under them.
Exactly. And it's dumb. It's so dumb. But this is why in the anime, it's actually worse. If you actually read the Boo Saga from like beginning to end, in the
I don't know
manga,
what the anime did.
it added in tons of filler. It took its sweet ass time getting to spots where, like, the manga, for example, Gotenks, in the anime, Gotenks fights Boo 4 times. In the
Yes,
manga,
he does
he
it
only-
unpowered first, doesn't he? Then he gets his shit rocked. And then he ends up fighting him at Super Saiyan, then gets his shit rocked.
Yep. In the manga, they only fight once on screen. The first time Gotenks goes to fight Boo, it's a cutaway gag. Because he's an overconfident little shit. Because he's a kid. And it's meant to be a funny thing. It's a gag. And it is funny. Because they say, we're super powerful now, we're equal to Goku, and they fly off, and he gets fucked up. The only time Gotenks actually fights Boo is in the spirit of... It's in the Chamber of Spirit and Time. The Hyperbolic Time Chamber. That's the only time they fight. And you see it. That's an example of horrible pacing within the anime. And the Vegeta fight, like the Vegito fight between him and Super Boo, there's not 2 episodes where like he's just fighting him as Vegito. He goes Super Saiyan immediately after fusing. And just starts handing Boo his shit. But no, then we have to... Again, it comes back to... Sometimes you don't need to do things that the book did. But sometimes you shouldn't add more. In this instance, for Dragon Ball, I understand that a lot of the filler that happened within it was to give Toriyama time to get ahead. But in other instances, nah, this was clearly not fucking needed. That being the best example. You did not need to have Gotenks fight Boo 4 fucking times. You did not need Vegito fighting Super Boo for 2 episodes and then go Super Saiyan just to get to the point of they're gonna go inside him anyway. You didn't need to do that. Ooh, bless you, King. But yeah, like, when you are adapting something, chat, the best thing that you can do is A, get the messaging that the creator wanted down. B, get the spirit of the characters correct. And C, at least get the major plot points. So long as you do that, you're good. So, like, as an example, if I was to make an adaptation of Final Fantasy VII, the main things I would get down is that Cloud has amnesia, because trauma. Sephiroth has to be a character who is absolutely 100% lost in the sauce. And Shinra has to be an evil corporation. Period.
Yep. Oh, and what is her name has to die.
Oh yeah, and Aerith has to die.
Yep.
Yes. And it has to be in the most slow-mo fashion that makes everyone cry out in despair.
From there, the plot can be however you want it to be.
Oh, the cross-dressing Cloud has to be included because that pretty much seems to be all I see about Final Fantasy VII is either Sephiroth, Aerith dying, or cross-dressing Cloud. That's pretty much because I've never played the game. That's all I find on bloody Google.
Huh?
Oh, it's a whole thing.
And a critique of rampant capitalism.
Oh yeah. So
how is the #1 thing you're finding when you search up Final Fantasy VII?
Oh, no, it's one of the top 3, 4.
So,
I don't know. No idea why
Shadow,
it must be
do
a
you
thing
know-
here in Wales.
So, does anyone actually know the plot of Final Fantasy VII in this chat, aside from TCOM?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Why is the cross-dressing Cloud one of the top search things? Is all I'm asking.
Because
Yeah.
Cloud's a good femboy. He makes her a very good femboy.
Oh God.
I have no idea. I honestly don't. It's just like
Plus,
it was
Final
always the whole
Fantasy
joke
VII
of,
has-
one week Angel.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Final Fantasy VII has like some of the best cross-dressing representation.
Yes.
I think it does,
and-
yes.
Yeah.
And one of people's favorite is just watching Cloud over and over and over again get slammed into a dress in the remastered. It's
Good shit.
one of the top most replayed portions of the game.
Listen, my favorite thing from Final Fantasy VII Abridged is when they are like getting him, like they're trying to find stuff so they can cross-dress Cloud and get into the club, and they get to Squadicles, the squatting competition they have to do, and Squadicles is like, yeah, get ready because we're gonna do like the most intense regime of squats, and he's like, yeah, let's do this, but he says something implying in a way that he's trans, right? So Squadicles and everybody inside the gym are just like, oh no, take it. What? I am Squadicles. I believe that you should be who you are destined to be. I believe that you should be who you identify as. And if this is so important to you that you need this thing, so that way you can identify as who you are and make sure that you are the most comfortable person in the world, then you should do it. Take this wig, kid.
All I'm just picturing now is that webcomic of it was like, "Hi, we're you from the future," and you got like the three cows like, "Oh, that's great." And just the little boy looking at the woman in front like, "What?"
Pretty much. And it's played for laughs, but at the same time, like the creators, the Team 4-Star admitted, like, nah, we did that as an allegory. Because you should feel comfortable with who you are and everything, and it's like, that's adorable. I love it. It's still fucking funny.
So probably the reason why I see so much crosshair, because I do somehow seem to be a lightning rod for trans friends, because in the online circles I have, pretty much every circle I'm in has at least 2 trans folk in it.
I mean,
And one group, there's about 7 of them.
my community's full of them.
It's just like, yeah, it's just kind of like,
It's that one thing where
clearly
it's
I'm
just,
doing something right.
it's that whole thing where it's just like, it's that whole thing where it's just like, I proved to be a safe person, and now all the cats have come into my house, kind of a thing.
Pretty much. I'm on board. So I've actually just bought a whole bunch of trans mask stickers and pins for one of my fiance's friends.
Aw, that's
So,
nice.
so I've got like all that kind of stuff. There's a place in Cardiff called the Queer Emporium. It's an LGBTQ plus cafe that sells amazing coffee. I mean, in the gayest cup I've ever had in my life, I will admit, it was beautiful. It was
The
fantastic.
gayest cup I've ever had.
It was the gayest cup of deluxe hot chocolate. It was ultimate. It was something like ultimate hot chocolate. It was beautiful. So I'm sitting there as the token cis hetero man in the shop, enjoying this. But on the side they had all these pins, and they had a variety of like fun pins, proper pins. They had retro Pride pins from 1978 up to 1989. So I got a stack of those. So considering that I forgot that it was 79 was the 10th anniversary of Stonewall, so you had all that kind of stuff. But they also had a stack of other bits and pieces, like they had holographic stickers, all the rest. Like I've got a sticker for my friend that says "Heavy are the hips that wears the strap." And also on the side, they had a variety of earrings for Pride, including, I shit you not, a pair of 3D printed vibrators
Good job, team.
as earrings.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's fine.
oh god. Speaking of token, there's actually a funny story about that. So, in my former friend group, one of my former friends, he's Indian, right? Like, he comes from, like, East Indian descent.
Yeah.
He was dating our shared friend, who is a very sheltered woman. Very sheltered. So, like, she didn't catch, like, a lot of, like, slang and everything, or, like, tropes. And so, while we were playing D&D one day, we were having like a conversation about like tropes and such, and one of the tropes was the token best friend. And so my friend asks me, what's the token black friend? Like, what's the token colored friend? Because she's thinking like Power Rangers kind of a thing with how she explained it to me. And I just looked at her. I looked at our DM. I looked at her boyfriend, and I just gestured at him. And you know what? You know what's even funnier? He just nodded with me, and we all just laughed together. And I'm just like, yeah, no. In this group, our East Indian buddy would be considered the token colored friend.
Yeah. Hey. Can't say colored anymore.
This is at the time.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say colored.
Yeah.
but-
I'll be serious, but yeah, these days it's nothing to say.
Yeah. No, chat. That was like, I was in grade 10 when I said that. I was like beginning high school.
It was
Get a pass
odd.
for
Yeah.
now.
So I'll just picture now the council as such, like in the Vanzalord used to be on TikTok. It's like 7. It's like grant this man a first XYZ.
I remember the Vantalord
I know who
War.
you're talking about. Vanta
Yeah.
Black.
I remember the Vantalord
Vanzalord,
War.
I think he was. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Vanzalord. He's like, whatever it was.
We're
And
declaring.
send the hex jet. He's invited to the cookout. He can come.
I started a third faction during the Council War.
No, cheese.
Did you?
Yeah, I started a
Cheese
third
faction?
faction. No, not cheese faction. The faction of neutrality, the neutral wargamers.
So I think I did something like that where they had the crows rest. I said we the crows were ambivalent to this whole nonsense. I think it was the ducks versus chickens and that.
Yeah. I said like,
But
this war is pointless, brothers. There are more important things. So while they figure their shit out, we shall continue doing what we do. And that's wargame.
roll dice.
Yeah, roll dice. roll for initiative, motherfucker.
Yeah,
the
the best I saw for that though, because who was the other faction? You had Vansort, and there was the other faction, the Rebellion, whatever they were.
I can't remember his name. He was a pretty funny lad.
Yeah, because he was giving away like man secrets. I remember there was one rebuttal which had me chuckling because I sent it to my trans buddies at the time, who were trans fan, about basically he said the thing about what men do, they tuck it between the legs and see it looks like it's like, and then the I think it was a New York lady, trans lady, came and said, "This was not your secret to tell. You have encroached upon this upon the trans territories." And all the rest was like, he's going to deal with a lot of very angry people very quickly here. So I'm just gonna help spread the fire, pass it to all my trans men buddies.
And by the way, chat, this wasn't like an actual war. This was two friends having a fucking
Having a goof.
They were having a goof, and they wanted to just get their
And it became a
communities in on it.
TikTok-wide goof.
Yeah, it was a TikTok-wide
Yeah, it
goof.
became a TikTok-wide goof.
It-
I still see people with the Vantalord's symbol as their TikTok profile account.
The Vantalord and the other rebels, yeah. And then it was ruined when it got to Twitter.
Mm.
Because the incels found out, and the incels ruined everything.
And also, bless him, the Vantalord tried to put this thing into the metaverse as well. Because this was circa 2022, 21? Because I was stranded in the States, which would have been end of 21 going into 22. So yeah, this was 3 years ago now, chat, which is disturbing. But yeah, that was when the metaverse was... Yeah, because the metaverse was just starting to come into its infancy, and people thought, they hadn't realized just the nature of how dangerous it was. And yeah,
Yeah,
it
which one was
flopped
he trying?
completely.
Which one was he trying to put it on?
I can't remember which one it was. He said metaverse, so he never actually said where. And also, I can't remember this one, but I thought, okay, cool. Then it just the whole horror of metaverse just really something I was like, yeah, I'm glad I stay away from that.
If it was the metaverse, he probably put it on Instagram.
It
Something
probably
like
was, yeah. Yeah, it probably was on the Man Lizard's home site.
So something that I've done, by the way, I kind of been like scrolling through my TikTok, not like my feed, like my actual profile, and like rewatching a few of my videos. I'm rewatching a lot of my stuff, and I'm going like, why did I sound like really angry here? Or like, I'm like, where the fuck is this energy coming from? Like, I rewatched the entirety of my Erebus video. I don't know how people felt about that one. Me going on my tirade about Erebus.
It's fine. Your hate sustains us.
I even actually like went through the comments on that one, and someone's like, I've never heard you use those words before, and I'm kind of living for it. It's like, and I'm like, what words did I use?
Essentially, you pretty much just channeled the entirety of Car into you in that speech.
I was trying to channel like the anger of like Panda, like the Panda Red.
Oh, that's a name from the past. I forgot all about it. Jesus. If boss, if you're gonna keep giving me this kind of mental whiplash, let me know. I need to get a neck brace.
And I'm just like, I'm rewatching all this stuff, and I'm like, I could not find a tone that I wanted to settle on for like the longest time. Because like some videos I would be very humorous about it, others I'd be very dramatic. And other times I would just be like informative.
At the time, you're also dealing with a very fluid environment of audience because, of course, TikTok is that kind of thing where you could have a spike of fame for a short stretch and it's just gone within the next week, and so you have to try and work around how to change things up so new people would fall into reviewing your videos. You have to, unless you're one of the more established ones like CM Alonjai, See You Later from the fantasy side of things, Queen Estrella, anything like that, which are very well established and are stalwarts of the TikTok communities. You had to constantly change just to try and get some kind of interaction going on. So that's part of the reason I suspect you had that constant shift around at the time, because you just had to constantly change what you were doing.
Like re-reviewing everything, like it's really shown me like where the burnout came from. Because I was constantly changing up how I was talking, and like even watching myself, I was getting tired. And like,
oh yeah, the fatigue you had before the burnout, even because it was about the same time you were doing the streams that everyone could join in. It was that kind of time. You could just see tempers are getting shorter, fatigue was coming to factor. I've seen it from my side of things. It was like, something's going to give, and sure enough, it gave before I said anything, because it was that quick.
Yeah, I do not regret leaving TikTok. I do not regret it. There is a mention in like the there is something that I do bring up in the new video about that kind of stuff. But I'm continually justified in my leaving. Cause when I posted that one video telling people like, hey, this is what I've been doing, I'm not dead, that kind of thing, I had one person comment, and I can't tell if they were just being vindictive or mean, or like they were just being genuine, but like, or like they just missed me and everything, but they were like, praying for Twitch and YouTube to fail so you come back to us. And I'm just like, I tell them like,
that's not how you make money though.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want them to fail because this is how I make money, and if like they fail, I die. So maybe don't wish that. And I can't tell if they were being like actually cruel about that, or genuinely just being a fan who needs to learn the goddamn filter. But
I suspect I was a young fan. That was definitely a young fan who hadn't learned this yet, or
Probably.
maybe not young physically, but young mentally.
I didn't want to get mad at them, right? Like, because I didn't want to assume. But I did tell them, like, that you shouldn't be wishing that kind of thing, dude. And just seeing, like, how vindictive a few of them were about it, too. Also, just, like, how do you have TikTok but not YouTube? That makes no sense to me.
It's
Because some
again, it
people
comes down
don't
to the age.
put into
It's the
larger format
world.
programs.
it's the demographic as well. I mean, consider our ages, boss, compared to a lot of the younger generation using TikTok and those just getting into 40K and that kind of thing as well. It is a very different environment for them because, like for you and me, we remember the old days of when you had to quite literally press subscribe because like wasn't even a thing back then. It was favorites
Yep.
on your videos on YouTube, and it was a very different era. So we remember seeing the birth of YouTube, and back when people used stayerblog.org and MetaCafe and that kind of thing for video content. So we have grown with it, as opposed to them having that as one of their sole sources of video entertainment. They haven't looked in other places because they're either already corrupted to such a extent, like we had with YouTube, although TikTok has its own problems, and they just don't go for other stuff either because TikTok's the one all their friends use.
Or like when they added the like button to their metrics for AdSense.
And
Oh,
then they
God, yeah,
removed
forgot about
the dislike button off
That
of
was
YouTube.
chaos for a few years.
Yeah, because what was the most disliked? There was one video that was like the most disliked video in history.
It was
I don't know
their
what
it was
was.
their YouTube. It was their YouTube.
Oh yes, that's hot. Was it 2020 or 2021?
Rewind.
Yeah,
You should
YouTube
rewind.
Rewind 2021 because they had Will Smith. It was nothing but celebrities. I think there was like maybe 2 YouTubers
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
It was a complete like this was marketing decision, and it was a disaster.
And shortly after that, they stopped telling you what the like to dislike ratio was.
Yeah, 'cause I think before that it used to be. Was it Rebecca Black's Friday? Was the other one before that?
Actually, it was a Call of Duty, if I wasn't mistaken.
It was Call of Duty
Had,
Infinite
like-
Warfare's trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Yeah, that
it
would
was
make
so
sense.
overwhelmingly negative that Activision straight up said, "Okay, fired," and it fired like half the fucking management team for
Marketing
social.
team.
Yeah,
Oh dear. I mean, that's also on par with the infamous Battlefront 2 minus, was it 600,000 downvoted one on Reddit
Ooh.
for
Well, that's
the whole
the thing
microtransaction discussion.
the Infinite Warfare trailer within the first 24 hours had like 3 million downvotes.
Which,
Mm.
chat,
Was the
as someone,
fastest dislike ever.
as someone who is, I'm of two minds of this, like, opinion. One, do I believe having a dislike button is a good idea? Yes! Asterix. I can also see the point that they made where it was easier for people to basically do hate raids and everything. And it would
Yeah,
skew and fuck with your
weaponizing-
results.
So it was a good way of spotting, like, I'm talking the old days. I'm talking, like, Halo
Yeah.
3 Reach era, where it was very handy to spot when people were adding a fake video, or they would have a thumbnail or something, like, say, it was a clip from, before Event 7, it would have been Iron Man 2, for example, or Iron Man 1. You want to look at that scene, it turns out it's just a screenshot that's been used in the middle of the video, so it shows up, because that's how the old thumbnails used to be. It was the middle of the video. You didn't choose a thumbnail, that's how it worked. And so, as a result, you then have random advertising, or you hear the national anthem of YouTube, Air. Yeah, you might remember that song, folks, whenever. If you couldn't afford to add a song, you always had this one particular song, I think it was called Air, and not Air in G major either. It was in everything on YouTube if people couldn't afford to play random music, whether it would be Evanescence's Bring Me to Life or Let the Bodies Hit the Floor or something.
So, while we're on the topic of dislikes, before they removed the dislike feature, Infinite Warfare had been dropped down to the 25th most disliked video. It had 45 million views with 3.9 million, almost 4 million dislikes. The only videos that topped it out for negative dislikes were those regarding the YouTube Rewind.
Also, by the way, chat, I just want to say, Infinite Warfare was a Call of Duty that did not deserve the hate that it got.
Nope, and that's
Same with Halo 4.
everything. That's everything the Reddit post is saying right now. Is holy,
What's
like
old is new again? I mean, exact same happened with Halo Reach and Halo 4, where they're all looking retrospectively at that now saying, did we fuck up? Yes, you did. And then you had Advanced Warfare later down the line, which had similar stuff like this. It was, people didn't like the
Ghosts.
change.
Ghosts.
Oh, Ghosts.
suffered the most
Good
for it.
grief. Poor Ghosts. That,
I understand the issues it had. Okay, as somebody who religiously played COD and Halo for a long part of their life, the issue with Ghosts strictly came down to the fact that their multiplayer maps were too fucking big for 6v6.
they basically made
also
Battlefield
for
maps for
Ghosts-
Call of Duty.
Overhype was an issue for Ghosts because remember, before it came out, we knew nothing about it, and everyone thought it was a game about Ghost from Modern Warfare.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I
we
remember
got the
those
Eminem
theories.
Yup, and then we got the Eminem music video that was literally dropped for the game. It showed that was in fact not for Ghost, a different timeline.
Tasty.
And I want to point out, again, people bitched when we got one hell of a fucking music video for the game. We had Snoop, Ice Cube, and several other people as announcers you could get in game.
So,
See, I will
Like-
die on the hill that Halo 5 was just bad.
Oh yeah, Halo 5, in
Halo
terms of
5
the actual campaign, was fucking awful. As the local Halo historian who was deep in with Halo at the time, working with 343 on one of their release packs, I actually worked directly with them for that. The problem they had was the knee-jerk reaction was so severe from Halo 4 that the briefcases upstairs in Redmond told 343 in no certain terms, you will fix this. Forget all you're doing. The Reclaimer Saga's out the window. Forget the Didact. You're starting fresh. And thus we had the mess. In terms of actual gameplay, it was one of the best multiplayers I have had in any Halo franchise. The Magnum was sublime.
Multiplayer was really great, but like my problem with it, and I've said this before, is any game or like any media that requires me to go to another form of media to understand what's going on.
Oh
has
yeah,
failed.
Halo Channel. Yeah, Halo Channel was such a bad idea. Again, that was not
Well, no,
343's decision. That was the briefcases.
It was also expecting you to have like read the Kilo 5 trilogy.
Yes. Well, actually, 4 technically did that as well. So 4 was another factor for that, where you need to understand who the Didact was. And again, what they lacked
you could play 4 without knowing who the Didact was and still understand the story and what's going on.
And the thing is in 4, that 5 ended up having as a aftermarket patch, and I always bring this up to people, is in the MCC collection, we have the nodes we can go to for all the fucking information, right? You can find them on every other campaign levels. Halo 5 added those post-release in a patch.
Yep. And
So they
5 was...
they weren't there for people to go and explore, and that's another thing that killed Halo 5's campaign. Is those of us who went for skulls and hidden stuff. It wasn't the same.
And I mean, the most egregious of all was the whole the Hunt the Truth thing. Hunt the Truth was fucking brilliant as a build-up. The whole thing of Ben Giraud, the story of him being a photographer who took that famous picture of the Halo 2 cover art and all the other bits, the introduction of Ilsa Zane, the whole story what happened to Sullivan from Forward Unto Dawn, all that was brilliant. And the build-up, Hunt the Truth, and then it clearly, what went out with marketing was not tied up with Warhammer 4. That's why they introduced Jeff Easterling, Grim Brother 1, as the law nerd, as the top man in charge of law. because they had no one at the helm to say, no, what you're doing is completely not bullcrap. This is the established plotline. These are the guardrails. We cannot go over them. And thus we had the whole thing with the creator, which before me, I would suspect their original idea would be the Didact would take over AI as the Ancilla. That would probably been their next route, as in being the big bad all the way through to would have been Halo 6, because Infinite wouldn't have ever been an idea. But
well,
it was bad.
I don't think it would have gotten there though, with the Didacts.
Taking a
Because
picture of the model.
when it comes to the mantle and stuff, after what happened in End of 4, and Cortana got shoved into that version of space as a data stream, the problem is if the Didact had actually came back and interacted with it, he wouldn't have had control of the system anymore. Because technically, the way the mantle worked, he would have been pushed out of control.
Yep. The Forerunners transferred control to humans.
Yeah, and Cortana would have counted as a human construct. So he wouldn't have been able to even command Ancilla on aboard the rings.
So yeah, so he wouldn't have done anything. So you'd have the monitor do sweet FA. You wouldn't have got control of the the Guardians either. So
Yeah,
it is to see how they would have done it, because I mean, the fact they killed them off in a goddamn comic though, which I know they've retconned since with the new novel, which I need to grab at some point. That was just such a kick in the teeth.
No, they did not say kill in Halo Escalade. They did not say kill for the Didact. They said contained.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact you then wiped out Black Team as well, that annoyed
I
me to no end.
remember the fucking meltdown.
Yeah, that was a shit show.
That was like, I'm sorry, you're telling me that he just wiped him out. He's tired. He's just had his ass handed to him by the Master Chief. Okay, and he then comes across a bunch of Spartan 2s.
Chat, here is the model. It is done.
Oh, yes. Let's have a look-see. Oh, very, very nice indeed. I do love the contrast to that green compared to the cream and the purple.
I'm doing a thing.
That's pretty much what I do for my guys.
I'm doing a thing with my Emperor's Children's like flawless blades, or like their drugs are changing their skin.
So basically, just reverse Bane.
Yeah, and like I know, like when people look at the first one, they're gonna be like, then why isn't his skin blue? It's turning purple because there's a purple energy around the blue. So like it's like going pale kind of a thing, and this guy's supposed to like represent like the end point of that. And like he's completely insane.
So with your army then, are you doing the classic route of the higher in rank a miniature is, the more corruption they have, in terms of the purpling the skin and the rest?
No, the less corruption you have, the more perfect you look.
Ah, interesting. Nice reverse.
Yep. I'm very much a person who's like, it would make more sense for the Emperor's Children the less corruption you have, the more regal you look, the higher your rank is. And it's why, like, a lot of them don't like fighting alongside Lucius. Because, like, he's... fucked up!
The representation of all things wrong.
But at the same time, I also understand, like, the, they don't see it as something gross and wrong. They see it as, like, ooh, perfection. Like, this is beautiful. This is amazing. Because they're insane. I fully get that side, too. It's just, like, for my guys, they work that way. Even though I own Lucius as a model.
Yes.
Would you get
Lucius with them and have them throw Lucius off in a corner to die alone?
Well,
wait, question for that actually: is the Sigvald model still around from Fantasy?
Sigvald?
Yes.
The chap with the
the
mirrored, yeah, because that would be ideal for you to use as a warband leader.
Ooh, that's not
because he does
bad
have
idea.
that whole perfect look. Because that's a perfect base for your Chaos Lord, you know, for the Madman himself, who
what's
thinks
his
he's the
model's
prince, the
base
chosen.
size?
Because it looks Chemosian. It does look like a Chemosian appearance.
What's his base size?
I think it's too. I think the one he comes with is too big, but like you could, you use him as Demon Prince.
That's true.
Actually,
I'd have to take off his cape and give him wings.
Just say he is the yassified Emperor Prince, or Emperor's children.
Yeah, pretty much. Ooh. Hold on, I'm looking through the armies of Slaanesh now. Give me a sec. Chaos, Hedonites of Slaanesh. Give me that, please. Please get it over here.
Hidden Knights of Slaanesh are so good.
As I stare at not getting into Age of Sigmar, by the way, but
Yeah.
staring at some of these units, I'm going, how do we Emperor's Children these guys?
Well, yeah, the great news is the Stormcast guys. Like, how can I Astartify these Stormcast miniatures, or turn them into Inquisitors?
I mean, like Sinessa, Voice of Slaanesh, if you just actually want a Slaaneshi Demon Prince with wings, that's a Slaaneshi Demon Prince with wings.
Senessa? Ooh.
Sineh. Yeah.
Ooh. She is a
Yeah,
pretty
that's the
model.
sound of bosses crying out in despair.
She's a pretty model.
Okay.
But I need a walking Demon Prince. I need a walking one.
Also, she comes on 105mm base, but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
I actually,
She's a big lady.
for my Sisters of Battle, I wanted to get some more AOS Daughters of Cain. Because I have like this... I have a priestess who is a snake. And I wanted to get Morathi Cain, the Shadow Queen, and adjust her and make her into Fulgrim. Because I want to make a Spee model, because I thought it'd be funny. To have
Yeah,
like
I can
Lost
see that.
Inspire leading
then-
my Emperor's Children.
All I'm just picturing is the meme. Who's it? Who's the guy who does the voiceovers, the British voiceovers of 40k characters? And he's got Fulgrim Snake.
I have not heard him say anything as Fulgrim Snake.
Basically, it's like a high pitched one where it's like.
Oh,
so 'cause
I know
someone
who
did
you're
an art
talking
piece of-
about now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's me,
Yeah.
Fulgrim.
Give me my blanket.
Yeah.
Hey,
Plush
I'm
Fulgrim
just
is
picturing that
obsessed with
Spy.
blankets.
Yeah, I'm just picturing that with Spiral, just as that miniature.
Yeah. For some reason,
Trying so
Plush
hard not to
Fulgrim is
fucking
obsessed
giggle.
with blankets.
Yes, absolutely, utterly. And it will scream and steal all blankets.
Angron is Honey Badger, I think.
Yeah, you got I think
And, like
you've
the
turned
American
Morta-
Honey Badger, that's absolutely fucking vicious. Not the British one.
Yeah, and then you got Moftarion.
Yeah. Just a giant
It's
moth.
Yeah, you got Moftarion. I think you've got the bats, of course, for the Night Hunter. They've done a whole stack of them now, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And they're all cute little plushes that he designed that you can
Yeah.
buy.
Give me my blanket. That's all I see every time I see Fulgrim now. I just picture him demanding blankets.
As I sit here going, Fulgrim is supposed to be like the most fucked up of his brothers.
No, he's just
He
a
saw the
who needs his
whole-
blanket.
He saw the hole that was left by Conrad Kurz being the fucked up one and said, nah, I'ma do it.
I'm a
No,
fill
no,
it.
you got the no, boss. The line, exact lines were, this is my hole. It was made for me.
This is my hole! It was made for me! God,
the scary thing about it, the scary thing that people always forget about Fulgrim as well, he's like the third oldest of them, or like the fourth
Oh
oldest.
my
of them.
god, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
He's found like third or like fourth.
Let me look
He's
up the
fine for-
order.
It's fourth because he's found after Ferris, and Ferris is third, or possibly fifth, depending on like
I know.
Alfarius.
I know that it was. I know that it was Horus, then Lehman, then Ferris.
Ferris Manus, yeah, and then it's
before
Fulgrim.
Cool. We have a timeline.
It also may possibly have been. It also might possibly have been Alfarius first, but I mean, you can't actually believe anything about that. So
I have
Even
I
in
mean-
that book, he tells you I'm fucking lying to your face.
he doesn't. That's the thing. He doesn't necessarily say he's lying. The last line of the book is, "I am Alfarius,
And this,
and
was a
this
lie.
has been a lie, and this has been a lie." So is he referring to the previous statement or the entire previous story?
And that's how they fuck with you.
Like, is
Yeah,
he
'cause
referring
yes.
to his life? Is he referring to the story he told you? Is he referring to his statement?
off,
We
AI, I don't need
fucking
you.
know.
I'm still now ruined by the fact someone defined that Alfaris is literally just the spy from TF2
Okay.
with a giant mustache.
I know this is Warhammer Wiki, but this is the best list I got. First up was Horus, then Lehman Russ. Then it was the second one that was found, number 2. And then it was Ferris.
Okay.
Then it was Fulgrim. Vulcan, Dorn, Gulliman, Magnus, Sanguinius, Lionel Johnson, Perturabo, Morty, Lorgar, Jagatai Khan, Conrad Kurz, Angron, Korax, the 11th Legion Primarch, then Alfarius.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But yeah, I do like it that Horus, Lehman, Ferris, Fulgrim, and Vulcan are listed as like older brothers kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then like
And like like to the point that like the Emperor like gathers like the 5 of them like on Terra for like team building, essentially.
which is really cool.
We're going camping, sons.
Having a team building exercise.
I mean, it's
Just
less
take-
that and,
take him on a
it's
camping
less
trip.
that and, it's less that and more. Yeah, all 5 of you get in a room and sort it out, basically.
Okay,
was
I'm
just
gonna
thinking,
say
like,
this right
he
now.
just pulls it all the flies.
You know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I love the idea that they're around a campfire and Vulcan starts singing the campfire song. Lehman Russ is all about it. Ferris Manus could give less of a fuck. Horus is just kind of like looking at them all weirded out. And Fulgrim, he's about it, but he's criticizing the instrument he's using.
Oh no, it's not just that.
Which
He
campfire
criticized the
song
fact
is
that they're
this?
out of tune. As
Yeah,
a
which
singer,
campfire
I can
song?
tell you, Fulgrim, he would be absolutely reeling at the being out of tune, which more than likely Russ definitely would. But I think if anything, it'd be Gingang Goody 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 Watcha Gingangu Gingangu, which is the only song from the old Scout campfires which has no words of any language, which is why it's used anywhere around the world on Scout and campfire events. Because
So-
it doesn't matter where you're from, we can all sing it.
What are you trying to say there, Will?
So-
No, I was saying neat.
So something I wanna
As
point out, though-
a former scout in the UK, that's cool.
Yeah, so you got the Queen Scout here, and the ex-Scout leader. I was always in charge of campfires. Any event that was going on in Pembrokeshire, if I was available, they would have me run the campfire with my big stick and my Scout blankets, which is more like a cloak.
What are you trying to say there, Shadow?
So something I want to point out though too is Fulgrim would be leading it, would be criticizing. But remember, Vulcan's used to a forge. His sense of loudness is not the same as the others.
Oh my god, you're right.
And Lehman Russ is gonna try to keep up with how loud Vulcan is doing.
And then, oh god.
I wanted
Well,
to
also-
point that out real quick because I was like, hang on, we're forgetting how loud. two
You're
of these
also
motherfuckers
forgetting
are.
they often commonly go into war zones without any form of hearing protection.
Mhm.
Are you sure they
fuck.
didn't have Mechanica Made 3M ear protectors?
Oh god.
See, the worrying one I'm imagining is like they all like get together like in the Imperial Palace at the start, and like Lehman Russ just walks up to Vulcan and is just like, "Here, try drinking this." Vulcan drinks it, immediately dies, but comes back to life, and is like, "Yeah,
I'll just picture it's like, don't tell that, don't tell that, don't tell that, don't tell that. You're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
Oh my god!
You know,
What do you
I
guys
guarantee
think?
you somebody has used his perpetuality to test
I was
poison.
debating heavily, because like I did a lot of thinking when I got back. I was debating heavily, like, because I had a funny idea on the way home. What was every Primarch's meeting each other like? What was the meeting between Horus and Lehman like? Because you had Horus, right? Raised by the Emperor, basically like pristine, gifted child.
yeah."
How would he react
the-
to someone like
I'm-
Russ?
I was gonna say like the whole like Chthonian thing is like the most blatant bullshit. Like he was not actually found on Chthоnia. This is like
Yeah, well, no, I remember there was a famous Aaron Dembski Bounder when he used to frequent servers back in the day or forums. There was a famous one which he mentioned where someone said, and you know, how each of the Primarchs went, and the comment on Horus was, "Horus was found on a moon that looks exactly like the moon." Funny that. Aaron Dembski Bounder then proceeds to quote it and say, "You're hired." Which kind of like, yeah, that confirms it indirectly.
Good job, boys. We did it. But yeah, like, I desperately want those conversations as like a joke kind of a thing where it's like, all right, Horus, I have found one of your many brothers. Oh, that's amazing, Father. What's he like? Well, I have brought him here to meet you. This is Lehman Russ. And he comes in as a drunk.
I was gonna say, well, I had to have a drinking contest with him. Yeah.
And then they meet Ferrus Manus. What the fuck is that like? Because you got like pampered prince, like very much going to be like the king of the lions kind of a thing. And then you got like the drunk. And then you have the guy with silver hands.
It's the comic
what is
moment
the story
of
the
Lehman Russ.
hands?
He kills a Catan
I thought he killed like a
shard.
That makes sense.
I thought he killed like the centipede Necron unit.
It's called like they describe it, and it's basically like, okay, so it's like some kind of like Necron super tech thing, like, and it's like it's probably a Catan because I think like a Catan shard of like something, because it talks about it being living like it being like a body of living metal kind of thing,
Oh,
which is
okay.
why he gets the silver hands.
Okay. But yeah, like, that, like, I was thinking of the joke in that one. It's just like, all right, Lehman, the Emperor, our father has found our next brother, so, make yourself presentable. Fuck off. And then Ferrus Manus walks in, and Horus just goes, oh my god! What? What's wrong with your hands? And, like, Lehman's all about it. Horus is just freaked the fuck out. And Ferrus just like, thanks, I'm very self-conscious about them, asshole.
Honestly, I don't think Horus would. If it would be Russ. Russ
Yeah,
would be the one who comments on that.
Oh, don't worry about the hands. Here, have a drink. Hands him a stein. It just immediately drops out of his hand because you can't hold anything if your hands are made of metal.
Okay.
He just goes, right, he literally, then Ferrus just designs like a giant tankard with a straw. He can just float some, it's carried by about 7 servo skulls. He just goes around following behind him. Russ like, I like him, I want 12 of these.
Super Gamer,
So
if you're wondering about who's the strongest Primarch in the tabletop right now, it's a toss-up between Lionel Johnson, Mortarion, and Magnus. And it all depends on the situation. Otherwise, we don't know.
So something I want to point out right now, in regards to the Primarchs meeting each other, is how did Ferrus and Vulcan handle each other upon meeting?
Oh, they're best friends.
Fuck everyone
Yes,
else's
let's
They
build
interaction.
quite like each other.
Yes, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, how
They
did
look
their
up to each other.
interaction go? And then we go from that to Ferris's sons being dumbasses who don't understand the necessity to protect craftsmanship
Well,
out
it's
of the wrong hands.
well, no. The entire argument of Ferrus Manus is that a weapon begins and ends at its usefulness. He does not believe. When you make a sword, a hilt guard is a hilt guard. Why the fuck are you making it look fancy? The fanciness just weighs it down. It makes it unbalanced.
Yep.
Like he's not against like ceremonial looking weapons looking ceremonial. He's against weapons of practicality being beautified, basically.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how Vulcan taught his sons that certain things should not fall into enemy hands. And these list of items, right? Anything on this list, you retreat with. Iron Hands look at that and go, why aren't you using it? It's just one of those things that gets me. It's like, yes, both are smiths, both have
so this is
practicality
something
of
I
build,
really
but their
fucking
sons
hate. This is actually something I really fucking hate because
have different ideas around those items.
we never get to see Ferrus Manus's like relationship with his legion to a extent.
Yeah.
Like
You just get the after effects.
yeah, you get tons of the after effects. So you only learn everyone's perspective of Ferrus after he's fucking dead. And I hate that because genuinely with how they set it up, I would have loved to know why Ferrus Manus had a lot of problems with his officer corps. Like, what's his fucking name? He's a character in Horus Heresy, the tabletop game. He leads a Black Shield unit. What's his name? I think it's Cedric Medusan?
Does ring a bell.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
I mean, don't worry, boss. I'm sure once they finish the Horus Heresy books, they'll then do ones looking at the Battle of Ullanor and all the other bits before that. They'll do the Great Crusade series.
Here we are. Oh, wait, no, I think it was, yeah, so this guy, Shajak Medusan, he fucking hated Ferrus. He's like, Ferrus is a dickhead. And it's not because, like, he disagreed with Ferrus Manus's, like, might makes right mentality. He just hated Ferrus Manus personality-wise. And I'm just like, what personality? What, you want to elaborate, asshole?
Again, it'd be nice if they did like it, because we had things like Vulcan Lives and all the other ones looking at like past moments of chapters or Praetorian Dawn. It'd be great if we had something like that with the Iron Hands, just a huge flashback of early days when A, Ferrus is found, B, they're on this, that, and the other campaign, C, just before Istvan 5. Little things like that, just a novel that would allow that to give them a bit more love.
Yeah, because, like, really
The
think
closest
about...
we get to is...
Chat, I'm gonna tell you two things. One, Ferrus Manus within the Horus Heresy gets two stories. Fulgrim, which is not his story, and a short story where it's about a snake, like he's fighting Eldar, and an Eldar Farseer puts a vision in his head of basically a purple serpent with gold scales is going to kill him. I.e., wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Your best friend's going to kill you. Which he just.
I know your writers use subtext, and they are cowards.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we get. And Ferrus Manus in Fulgrim is written to be very camaraderie with Fulgrim, very much like weirded out by how his longtime friend is acting like a douchebag. out of nowhere. And then the next time we see him after that is when he's like, hey, you, my first captain, don't bring up what happened against the aliens that we fought, because it's still a touchy subject. Let's try to be nice. Like, he's bending over backwards for Fulgrim. And then Fulgrim's like, hey, how about you betray the Emperor with us? And that's where, like, you see Ferris go from, like, 0 to 100. Because one moment, he's bending over backwards for him, and then the next moment, it's like, I'm gonna fucking rip your head off. What the fuck? I would have loved to have a little bit more. Like, please give me a story. Please? Thank you. No? You're just gonna kill him off at the end of the book? Thanks.
Again, this was early days as well, so I think they were, when they made that, they were probably planning to have like a whole Iron Hand thing, which just never came to be, sadly. But I think the only times he ever gets to the appearance, he shows up in Betrayer, is it, or First Heretic? We have like a very small cameo when
gives the mace to Lorgar, and
yeah,
Lorgar
when he gives
massively-
Illuminara to him.
Lorgar massively misinterprets like what that means. It's like, yeah, I made weapons for all our other brothers. Here, take this one. It's yours, even though you're the weakest. And he's like, oh, he made this just for me. And it's like, yeah, get the fuck out of my forge.
Yeah, because it's that line of one makes me wonder what whether you'd amount to anything after all, and then Ferris just says mid-swing, one wonders if you'll ever amount to anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just the contempt that he had for Lorgar was palpable in just those two paragraphs.
God, it's... When you read the books and, like, read how, like, everyone treated Lorgar, they either treated him like he was the slow one of the family, or, like, they just downright didn't want to be around him. Like, oh, Lorgar, you did such a good job! Like, did you draw that? Did you draw that? To, like, I will fucking shit stomp you if you do not leave my room right now.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me, you chastity-wearing freak.
It was, again, yeah, and otherwise, you do have very few... Is there one where he actually sees what the Iron Hands become? Like, he ends up in some time thing and he sees, like, a ship of Iron Hands just augmented with bionic. He's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and that's another thing, is that, like, the Iron Hands in modern 40k are the embodiment of everything he fucking hated. And it's just like, can we have more of that, please? I'd like to experience that a little bit, because he was trying to, like, iron that out of his Legion. And
it's one of the comments he makes, actually, just before he's killed at Isstvan 5, about how he knows he's going to have to change the whole thing because this is a sickness within the Iron Hands. And then, of course, he loses his head in more ways than one on the plains of Isstvan 5.
Again, the head jokes will never not be funny to me. I'm easily swayed. All right, I've been going long enough, and I'm reaching close to 4 hours, and I don't want to be charged. So
Yeah.
let's see who's currently
sounds good.
online. No, let's go raid Hoodguard. Hoodguard has been let's go raid him. All right, chat. We're gonna go raid Hoodguard. We're gonna go raid his painting. We painted one thing, now you got another thing, and Hoodguard's infinitely better than I am at painting. And that's not
denigration nonsense.
That's not a denigration. It's like just fact. I'm good, but he's amazing. So, yeah, let's get your emotes ready. Get your emotes ready and everything. And yeah, I will check in with all of you on Friday when we're playing Monster Prom with Lost in Spirals. Good night, everybody.